Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the GDQ Hotfix, whether you're watching on Twitch or YouTube. Hello, if you are watching on YouTube, watch us over on Twitch. We do these live effectively, well, what it feels like almost every day. This show happens every other Saturday, and this is Going Places. We go around the speedrun sphere, as it were. So we have a look at games on handheld consoles, as well as going around the world to specific locations to have a look at games that didn't get a wider release. So a few region exclusives here and there. Granted, some of those games are easier to find than others when it comes to speedrunning, but we have a lot of fun here, and I think we might actually, or maybe not on this one, but we have had a few golden games which are both handheld and region exclusive. But today we are having a look at what is on the Game Gear library. Now you might wonder, wow, this guy has a Game Gear game. I don't have a Game Gear, which is one less on most of the runners that we have on today, because they are all rocking a Game Gear and a Game Gear setup for streaming, which is it's pretty niche. But in terms of what we have for you today, we have got Aleste. We've got Aleste 1 and 2 that are about to come up, courtesy of Wearing Thin. We are going to have some Sonic. I know I showed the cartridge a second ago. This one, we might know it over in the West as Sonic Triple Trouble. That's not in the trilogy that we're about to see. But yeah, we're going to have some Sonic love, and then we're going to have some more platforming with Tempo Junior Race at the end of the show. But between that and the Sonic run, we're going to have Garfield Caught in the Act, which, if you've been around the channel before, I think you probably would have seen, and you will know of that reputation. But before we get to that part of the show, we have got Aleste, courtesy of Wearing Thin. Wearing Thin, hello.
Hello, everybody. And if you can see me in my screen, that means that you can see that I'm rocking a 100% authentic Game Gear here with GG Aleste 1. So get your GGs in the chat, please. Good game, Aleste. Good game.
Nice.
So, hello. This is going to be a little bit interesting, considering this is a genre that's not often played on the GDQ channel. This is a shoot 'em up, a shmup. This was released back in 1991 for the Game Gear, only in Japan. And obviously it has a very beautiful introduction, but unfortunately we have to leave it there. And I am predominantly, people that know me that as a player of arcade and shmups. And people often ask me, Finn, how can you speedrun a shmup? And thankfully, with this game here, I have the definitive answer as to what makes a shmup a speedrun. And we're going to do special, because I like pain, and we are going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. And the answer to it, thank you very much. And the answer is, what makes it a speedrun? It has a timer. There we go. Now we're going to have a crash course on Aleste, because unfortunately the beginning and the end of most shmups are incredibly difficult affairs, because at the moment I am a cautiously curious caterpillar, and I'm wanting to become a big burly brute of a butterfly. That means I have got my pea shooter with me at the moment as I'm having all of these bullets flinged in my direction. So a lot of the Aleste games are the same in that I have a method to increase my power through those little pea-pills that are just there, and also I have an array of sub-weapons which you can see in the bottom right hand side of the screen. But what is going on here? This does not look like a real Game Gear. It has things on the sides. I know the 90s were incredible, but they weren't that incredible. And you are right. I am not going to shoot these things. It is too early. This is a part of a collection that was released 18 months ago by M2. And I'm not talking about the Resident Evil 3 M2. I'm talking about the M2 that is responsible for probably your favorite emulation. So they did the various mini consoles, the PC Engine Mini, the Genesis Mini. They did the Sega Age stuff, and they also have their own little label that is dedicated just for shoot 'em ups. So they've already done the rounds with Cave and bringing Dagon Fever on. They've already done a bit of Raising with Battle Garega. They're currently going through Toa Plan, but they also released this, the Aleste collection, a collection of 5 Aleste games. Excuse me a moment, have to be a little bit careful. 5 Aleste games, 2 from the Master System and 3 from the Game Gear. But wait, Finn, I know about Aleste. There are only 2 GG Alestes, and you would be right, because as part of this collection, M2 made a 3rd one. So, what makes this a speedrun? What makes this a speedrun is that there have been certain changes, quality of life. You can see all of these gadgets around the screen, and these give you information in order to make better sense. Excuse me a moment, I need to concentrate. There we go, sub-mini-boss is done, and unfortunately I can't shoot down those things, so I'm just going to avoid them all. Right, so we have all of these gadgets on the side. You know, if you've played any of the Sega Ages games on the Switch, you're probably well aware of them. I love the Phantasy Star one, for example, but we have all of these here, which lets us make sense of what is a game that doesn't really explain much. So we're able to, unfortunately, we come to a mini boss right here, hoping to have that done in one cycle. So off we go, Demon's Gate, thank you very much, there we go. And you think this will be the end of the stage because we are going through a tunnel and it's going to fade to black, but you see at the bottom there are timer splits. So no, the stage continues, we're going through the space tunnel, we're going into space, the final frontier, and we're going to continue pew-pewing. Sorry, I've just done a German event, therefore I'm kind of mixing the languages in my head. So we have all of these helpful gadgets on the side, and they're going to tell me how far away I am from upgrading my shot power, so I can become the butterfly that I've always dreamed of, and also what the level is for my sub-weapon. A sub-weapon, of course, I have a choice of 1 of 6. They will come in green little letters, sorry. And it's also important to say that every time I pick up an item, be it a P-Pill, be it a P-Pog, or be it a, there's my P-Pog, or be it one of these sub-weapon choices, then I'm going to get invulnerability for about a second, maybe a little less. Right, so I'm going to avoid that completely, thank you very much. And we're coming up to the first boss, if I am absolutely correct, and I am, because the stars are ending. And this is a giant cannon, don't go in front of the laser, please. There we go, second phase. What is this? This is a Decepticon, right? I'm going to shoot in the face, and it is done. There we go, first stage is done. I'm going to take a massive gulp of water. There we go, and my ship is going to multiply. And off we go. Where are we going to warp? What happens every single time we're in a shmup and we warp? For some reason, we end up near a body of water. But I selected the napalm here. Now, so what makes this a speedrun? I don't think I actually explained that properly. As part of this collection, in addition to all of these helpful items, they give you something that Google Translate tells me is comfort mode. And that means that all of the slowdown, which this stage in particular suffers from, is gone. So the question is, what do you then measure success for in a shmup if you're removing slowdown? It can't be for score, because if it's for score, then, well, you know, you just use a slowdown because the game is going to be a lot easier for you. So instead, they turned it to time. And as is the way with many modern shmup releases nowadays, there is an online leaderboard. I'm going to take this H. I'm going to take this H just for this stage because I want to have coverage. So, there is an online leaderboard. This collection here came out for the PS4 and the Switch, but excuse me a moment, we have a mini-boss, and I have a song to sing. We all live in an 8-bit submarine, an 8-bit submarine, an 8-bit submarine. We all live in an 8-bit submarine, and that's dead. Okay, so there is an online leaderboard. It's separate for both PS4 and Switch. So if we were looking at, because if you have an internet connection and complete this game, it forces you to upload a time. So for example, the normal difficulty on this has about 900 or so entries on that. And you'd think that in what is fundamentally an auto-scroller, that would mean that there wouldn't be much difference. But no, you go on that online leaderboard and there is massive amount of difference, and you can genuinely say that that the record for this game is absolutely insane. That is for normal version, and I've missed those P-pills completely. I am very sad when I miss the P-pills. And I'm gonna, oh, this is dodgy, there we go, thank you. Oh, Okay, sorry. The trouble sometimes with doing shmups. And I'm going to take this, which is my defense ring, which I'm going to use for the next stage, and there. So, if we're talking about the amount of speed games that were released in 2020, my tongue is very much in my cheek here when I say that this is the most popular speed game of 2020.
Very true. Very true. Preach it. You love to hear it.
So I'm taking the defense shield because the next stage is going to be terrible. So we've got the boss coming up. There will be a bit of flashing lights after I destroy these turrets. So please, if that affects you, look away. I'll tell you when to look back. Unfortunately, it was the 90s. And, flashing lights were, of course, what made people attracted to that. Unfortunately, it's not exactly white, so it's not very attractive. And that is done. Oh.
Nicely done.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we're now coming to what is the worst stage for me. If we make it through this, I think we're good. If we don't, I'm going to cry. But also, it highlights the sprite scaling powerhouse that was the Game Gear. So we see those train tracks down below as we've warped into what seems like a cave complex. And in a while, I'm going to deal with all of these robots that are sneaking up on me. Thank you very much. And that is why we're using the defense fire, because if it comes in contact with a bullet, not these bullets, then it will absorb them. But of course, there is a little bit of a gap that will do that. So you can see those ones coming from the train, they came in at about 3 frames worth of animation. It does get better, but obviously this was in the middle of the console wars. Having big, powerful sprites, that was something that was very important to a lot of people, especially me when I was just a little child and didn't know any better. Just to give some kind of context, probably 2 months before this was the release of Fatal Fury, and to talk about sprite scaling, so if you played it any way like me, then you were constantly jumping from one layer to the other, just to the sheer delight of having all of those sprites go slightly bigger, slightly smaller. So this is going very, very well. If I cursed a run, I'm not sure. Usually I would have died by now. But as you can see, there is score information on the top left-hand side of the screen, and you can see what is needed for my extends. My extends is, shmup lingo, and that means how many points I need to have an extra life. And it's a little bit generous. And certainly when you talk about, we had a conversation before this about the absurd difficulty of arcade shmups. It's a more lenient experience when we're talking about the home console version. Especially there is more of an incentive than there's to get people to finish your game, and there's less of an incentive to take people's money because they've already got your money. Okay, so obviously, talking sometimes is ever so slightly difficult. We are almost at the end of this, and shockingly, I don't think I might survive this. No, okay, maybe not. Right, no, this is the dodgiest performance I've ever had, but somehow it's working. Of course, I've begun to sing, which is never a good sign, but I'm going to abuse all of these P-pills that are coming my way for that little bit of invincibility. And yes, oh my, we have done it. Oh, okay, we've got a boss coming up. There's a train. It's going to scale in quite nicely. This is going to be blinking you miss it stuff. It's going to hurl bullets at me. There is a safe spot, but what's the point in that? What's the fun in that? I can show you my expert dodging. Trained through many, many years of Dodonpachi. As you can see, absolutely beautiful micro dodging here. But no, he will come up in a moment, and I'm going to shoot the green thing, and it's done. There we go. I have beaten the third stage without dying live in front of however many people. That deserves a drink of water.
Indeed. Make sure everybody else in chat is also drinking.
Please get hydrated.
Stay healthy, stay hydrated.
So, I know this is an auto-scroller. I know how speedrunners feel about auto-scroller. And you know what? Even for our shmup players, there is an auto-scroller within an auto-scroller. So we have here a beautiful rendition of a sky scene, and we have the bonus area, which is going to be enemies that are coming in fixed directions, and I have to shoot them all. But I can't die, so there's no risk. So, if you want to say something, plug something, ask a question, please go away, because I'm just going to shoot bugs and X-Wings, and it's going to be boring.
Sure, we were talking a little bit about this before the show started, but what got you into these games?
It was my childhood. you talk about that era in the late 80s, early 90s. The arcade was still king. I mean, you think around this time, 1991, it was Street Fighter 2 that just come out. There was very much. I mean, it's more difficult, I'd say, on the continent, but in the UK, you go down to the south for your summer, and there will be a series of arcade machines there, and you just go be amazed every single summer. Wow, video games can be so incredible, and then you'd be so disappointed when you come back. But there would be other arcade machines around the area, so, UK in the 80s and 90s, there were pubs everywhere, and where you had the pubs and you didn't have a fruit machine, you had an arcade machine. So one of the first games I ever remember playing was the 1980s arcade shoot 'em up Star Force, made by what is now called Tecmo. And since then, if I had a spare 30p, I would spend it in an arcade, and my mother would be glad that I would be shut up for 20 to 30 minutes.
Oh, awesome. I feel like if I was given that much money, I would probably need more if I wanted to stay entertained for that long. I was never very good at arcade games.
Well, it's obviously you have the Netflix anime, High School Girl, and this concept of you just pick a machine which will last you half an hour. So if it's raining outside, then you just stay there playing Final Fight or something like that. And it's very much the same. You pick machines. Yeah. Sometimes you pick machines that are new to you, but sometimes you pick machines that you know you can get value for money for. And obviously, the arcade has gone through various evolutions during this time in order to stop that doing it. So you can't have the infinite loops anymore. You can't have the Donkey Kong death screen. We're coming up to a boss at the moment. It's going to flash orange, so please look away if you're affected by that. Right, I have to be it's a very awkward boss, I find. Come on, please. There we go. First phase done. And now I have to stay very, very close. And it's done. Okay.
Nice.
What was I saying? Get good at games, and get the best value for money for it, and that is how you did it. So you see people absolutely insane at Gradius, at R-Type, at things like that, but you've got to remember how many times they probably played that game. But sometimes it's a case of in the corner store, it's the only game that was available for you. So it's the only thing that you could say, I've got 30p, I've got a quarter, I've got however many money. And say, well, I've got 15 minutes to kill, let's have a game of R-Type. And speaking of R-Type, this is a good example of it, because they created a trope, not quite a trope, but in 1987, where instead of having a normal stage with a boss at the end, instead it will just have this here. So we'll have a ship, and we'll take it apart piece by piece. I mean, it's found its way into other games. So in Mushihime Sama, for example, it's not a giant ship. It is, in fact, just a giant bug, and you go there tearing it apart and you feel absolutely terrible afterwards. But I feel slightly less terrible about this. So the only difficulty are these little cannons here. You don't shoot them head on, you shoot them onto the side, just before the strange orange ancient markings things. There is a story, but unfortunately this game only ever came out in Japan, so I've never read the instruction book. Now, the amount of slowdown that this game reduces varies greatly. So, for example, stage 3 is not very scary at all when it comes to when you're dealing with the slowdown, because you can dodge all of the bullets when it's going so very slowly. But I can't imagine that stage being any slower. So, an interesting situation. I think the game expected me to die a bit more, and for some reason I have skill. I don't know where I found it. So we've gone from the never-ending clouds to the never-ending desert, so it's another minute in which we have to kill, otherwise I'm going to have to do some very weird things with my face on the camera to keep people entertained. So again, plugging questions for the next minute.
Cool. Well, we've got some news on our end, and I'm sure quite a few people might know about this already, but SGDQ is coming up. It is going to be kicking off on June the 26th, and prize submissions are now open. So if you're interested in sort of helping out with that or finding out what's going on with that, then you can go to gamesdonequick.com for more information. We also have other events going on. Frame for Towels will be having its next all-women speedrunning event, Flame for Towels, in late August. So if you type !FF in the Twitch chat, or you go to gamesdonquick.com/Frame for Towels, you can find out more information.
Something's happening with the screen. I'm a bit scared. Can somebody hold me?
Oh,
No.
I'll do a metaphorical.
It doesn't work like that? Okay, fair enough. So, yeah, the bonus area continues, but the screen's gone out. We were in a desert. I mean, it looked like there was plenty of sun there, but no, it's all disappeared. How very spooky. Of course, it can't be because of processor resources. The Game Gear was an absolute powerhouse. Of course. I mean, look at this sprite. You think about, this was 1991, and you think about what shmups were available on that. All right, so I've got 200,000 points, which means I now have more extra lives at the left hand of my screen than will be displayed on the right hand of my screen. So I'm going to take the napalm once more, because I'm feeling very, very confident now, and that is going to be, obviously, my death. So 1991, if you think about what other shmups were available during that time, and it wasn't really many, and it wouldn't be many for the Game Gear either. It would only be a handful, of which a good chunk of those would be Aleste games. Oh, all right, so we just stay calm. There we go. If we don't move, they don't see us. Exactly the same as dinosaurs. So, you know, if we were looking before 1990, you ask, what's your best favorite handheld shmup? Some people could legitimately say Super Mario Land. Of course, I always prefer the Batwing levels in Batman, but, you know, everyone's entitled to their opinion. You would have a version of Gradius that would come out in 1990. R-Type would be 1991. Shockingly, you would have some competent shmups on the Lynx, but no one ever talks about the Lynx, and that's a real shame. But on the Game Gear, no, not a lot. And as you can see from the actual hardware itself, it's kind of interesting to see this as a Game Gear game. Obviously, I'm playing this through the Switch, but, you know, I would say that this is probably a Master System game. Obviously, there are relations between the two, and I'm going to have a lot more bullets being hurled my way. But this is graphically impressive in terms of the amount of bullets that they're getting on the screen and the quality of the sprites there. But it will only get better as the years go on. So this is... Oh, that was dodgy. That was... Whoa. Okay. So we're coming towards the end, and there is going to be a boss that is going to also have some flashing lights. So please look away. It's going to be the same before, as we're going to have turrets on the left and the right, but these turrets are not actual turrets. They look like Sarlacc pits or something like that. We are in the middle of a desert after all. Right, so I'm going to go from one side to the other and hope that... There we go, that is my first death. Oh... I don't know how we're going to do this now. We only have 11 lives left. Please die. Thank you. There we go. There goes the flashing. And... Right, I think it's time, everybody. We need to go deeper underground because there's just too much panic to be found. And we're coming towards the end. And for some reason, that means... corridors. A very, very long corridor. What is your favourite corridor, people? I'm always a fan of Final Fantasy 13. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I own the books. Now, it's going to be an interesting moment in that I am... well, firstly, I get to talk about what death means in this game. So death means that I go down one level for my strength. So at the moment, I'm level 7 for my main shot and level 3 for the... Okay, now I am level 6 with my main shots and level 2 for my sub-weapon. And this is the difficulty with the game, but thankfully we moved a little bit on from Gradius back in 1986 or 1985. We don't start from nothing. There is a fairly decent way to recover all of that lost power. So we're going down this hole and we're going down to yet another corridor. Thank you, game. Thank you. This is always a bit of a weird experience, and obviously there is a little bit of a story. We can see there Moonchild, but who are Moonchild? Moonchild are a secret organization that just appeared in front of the planet one day and rather rudely declared that they were going to take it over, which is, not ideal. Of course, a couple of people did manage to get away and formed a resistance, and I am one of those. I am an expert teenage fighter pilot called Eleanor Weisen, and we are probably going to come to the first of the mini-bosses. So I probably shouldn't start the entire thing, and obviously there are a fair number of bullets on screen, and a fair number of robots that are going to kill me. This is the difficulty when I say a run's going well, that eventually it's going to go ha 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 ha. But it's okay, we're at the end of the corridor and we have another mini-boss flashing lights, unfortunately again, because it was the 90s. And it sounds like my cat wants to come out. That is fantastic timing. Thank you. Right, so there we go. Okay, the flashing wasn't that bad. And we are going down. Right, so Eleanor Weisen, that's who I am. Expert fighter pilot. And Weisen in German means orphan. And so this all was set up by my grandfather, who sent me off to space with a brand new fighter ship, which was only I can pilot because, anime, Japan in the 90s. But thank you very much, Grandad. It's very much appreciated that you've sent me off to what is most certainly my certain doom. Okay, I will take the wave again. And we got the power up there. So thankfully, there is enough opportunity within this seemingly never-ending corridor in order to get all of my power back, but certainly if I miss all of those P-pills, it's going to go slightly more difficult for that. And it's always a bit of game, so those little satellites there will always drop 4 P-pills, and I'm very happy if I manage to get all 4, and very disappointed myself if I manage to get 0, and that does happen. There we go, we got a ship waiting, I'm early. It's gone. And it's a Klingon bird of prey. I'm just going to go right in front of him and do a little bit of dodging. And that is gone. He's lost his nose. I'm very sorry about that. Let's go to the hole. And where are we going to go in this wonderful adventure? To another corridor, of course. I suppose the question needs to be asked, what is your favourite staging area for the finale of a video game? I'm thinking like, for example, a Bloodborne where you're having the burning house and you're having to make a life decision as to whether or not you're going to eat the umbilical cord. Oh, I shouldn't be alive for that, but there we go. Fantasy Star Online, where you get to the Glade before Dark Fowls and you realise, you think, I want to stay forever, but then you realise you're paying for the internet by the minute because it's 2000, 2001 and UK broadband introduction wasn't that good. Or maybe Final Fantasy VII.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. Final Fantasy VII, and obviously my mum wanted to make a phone call. Final Fantasy VII, you're in the middle of a crater, gravity's gone, blah, blah, and well, we have a hole in the ground. We can come to that later, and we've got another ship, and he is going to shoot sideways. I need to get in front of him. There we go. He's lost his nose again. He had 2 noses. We're going to go down. I think any of those will be a greater prelude to a greater before ending than yet another corridor. And to be honest, when you look at the entire genre of shmups, it's not exactly like there needs to be padding out. We're not looking at multi-hour long experiences. If you're doing, I'm going to stay hit, I'm going to stay hit, I'm going to stay hit, I'm live. We're not looking at multi-hour experiences unless you're crazy enough to do 10 loops of a game. 20 minutes, maybe even 15 minutes if it's a Psycho game, and you're done, and I'm done. But as you can see on the top left-hand side, because I've passed 1 million points, it meant that I got about 7 lives. So even I can't screw this up. I mean, I'll try, but, all right. So last mini-boss, I'm pretty sure there's flashing lights here as well. Again, because, what's said, more exciting things and having flashing lights. We've got these little turrets that obviously the first one doesn't want to open up for me. Come on, there we go. And we can't damage him until we get to the other side, and there we go. We've done all of those. Okay, that wasn't really much flashing. Apologies, sometimes I forget. Are we done? Yes, there was a split for that. So we did the boss, and that is the end of the seemingly infinite corridor. And now we can finally talk about the ending. The ending, which we are going through our bio phase, which is difficult to see things in. Every single shmup seems to go through a bio phase ever since R-Type. And I have absolutely no hope of getting past level 6, unfortunately. So this is the maximum power. I'm just going to hope for a couple of P-Pogs there, but I will take the P-Pills just in case for the invincibility. All right, so we've got these little robots that are going to sneak up behind me, and you're not going to have me that easily, friend. There is a P-Pog, one of my level 3, level 4 max. Fantastic. We are good for the end as long as I don't do anything silly. Oh. You know, if anyone wants to send me energy or something like that, I mean, it's been like 26 minutes where I've been talking. Please do.
I definitely want to send you energy because, I mean, you've got more of this to come after this run as well.
Thank you. No.
Have some more energy. Have some more energy.
Oh, yeah, I don't think it's possible to lose 14 lives on the last level, but I have a feeling that I'm going to try. Okay, so we've got this scary face here that we're just going to point blank. That's going to throw us bouncy balls, but it's done. There's a long play time there. And now we're coming to the second half of the stage. Again, I'm just kind of hoping to not mess up too much. We have these little ones, little greens, going to do a little dance around me. Now, of course, if I was a cautious man, and I would take that defense ring, but no, I'm just going to let them all go because I need the width for this mini boss here. I want to take care of the sides. There we go, one side done, and now we've got bouncy balls coming our way. And now I get to shoot directly for it at the face, and there we go, we are going onwards, but it is not over yet because we have yet another boss. But no more things to shoot, so we've got 15 lives. We can do this, people, we can do this. We have Wolf Mother. Okay, Wolf's dead. First phase, dead. Second phase, dead. Third phase, dead. Fourth phase, you've got to remember that this was years before Mass Effect, so here we have an alien offering us a choice in the form of bouncy balls, different colours. Which one are we going to choose? We're going to choose none of them. We're just going to shoot directly, and when it's done, there we go, time.
Oh, ow. Nicely done.
And unfortunately, my ship is now destroyed. As you can see, it's in flames because I probably lost too many lives. But, you know, 2836 for special, that's about 6th maybe on the Switch leaderboard. So I'm quite happy with that. And just a little treat before we go to the pause. Here is the slowest cutscene of all time. But you got to appreciate the ambition being shown here.
The suspense.
Yes.
Really keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Now, of course, there was a little bit of a reveal at the end because you didn't know that Eleanor Weisen was in fact a girl. So this is the reveal at the end. This is the Metroid moment where eventually she goes up into the spaceship and you see that I've got a final score. And there we go, I'm being treated. I've clearly lost lots of blood and I probably should have had a blood warning. This is too gory. Right, I see somebody asking a question. This is Game Gear exclusive. So there are Aleste games on the Master System, but Aleste on Master System and Aleste on Game Gear are completely separate games. It gets a bit weird with the next one as well, but we'll get to that. So, shall we go to an intermission?
Yes, indeed. We will be heading off whilst we get the second game ready and then get a well-earned break, because yes, talking as quick as he's speedrunning. We're going to be heading off. We'll be playing some music in the intermission. So if you wanna enjoy that, and you also want to support the channel, which helps these hotfix shows run, then any bits, any subscriptions, whether they're Prime or regulars, they help the channel out, and that means that you can listen to the brilliant music that we've got in the middle, stress-free and ad-free. So we will be back very, very soon. Make sure you get up. Make sure you're hydrating, make sure you're stretched, and we will be back for some more Aleste 2. Hello everybody, welcome back to Going Places. This is the GDQ hotfix that takes you around the world We look at region exclusive games as well as games that are for on the go. And it's been there's a heavy focus on the go games today. We are having a look at some of the Game Gear speed games that one can find. And we have had an incredible run of GG Aleste to start off with Wearing Thin, and we're about to head off into Aleste 2. But before we do so, just a reminder that this isn't the only hotfix. There's several hotfixes going on almost all the time, but one that we'd like to remind you about is that tomorrow we have PB Precipice happening, as well as It's Dangerous to Go Alone. So if you keep an eye out, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, that's when things are going to be kicking off. But speaking of kicking off, we are going to kick off. I feel like I've said kicking off a few too many times. Anyway, before I say it any more times, Wearing Thin, Aleste 2. Let's go.
Well, I think today is a day where we can all get away with talking about football. We are back. Get your GGs in, but make it double, because we are here with GG Aleste 2. 2 years later, and we have learned a lot. It's a shorter game. There are no repeating corridors, and it kind of plays more similar to what a proper console shmup is going to be. So, right, we are going to skip through that. I am going to actually not amend the difficulty level on this, because I don't need to in order to make it actually seem like a show. But the game starts when I say go, obviously. So it starts in 3, 2, 1... go. And what is important, I can choose my starter weapon. Delta form is important, defense is important, because yet again, I am a curiously cautious caterpillar and I want to be a big, burly brute of a butterfly. So I'm staying out very, very weak here, and that was very dodgy. And as you can see from the beginning, it's a little more interesting. It's a little more like you would expect from a shmup of that area. There are plenty of bullets here. There are plenty of enemies which are flying my way, and you can see the vast improvements in the last 2 years that have happened as a result of the work that's gone in. I've got to say, this as a Game Gear game is absolutely fantastic. Again, right, so for those people that did not see the first run, so this is sadly not being run on original hardware. This is being run on a collection which was released in 2020, sadly only available in Japan, but as you can see, there's plenty of English text around. And this was released by M2, the company that produced most of, if not all of, your favorite emulation. And this comes with a few additions, a few quality of life benefits, such as, for example, you have the typical M2 gadgets around the screen. It's going to tell me what my shot power is as I destroy all these boxes. It's been several years since I've seen Gravity, so I'm sure there's no impact from this on the greater space. So there is plenty of information about my main weapon, my sub-weapon, and also the my score and the amount of lives. Here is a mini-boss. It looks like a Kraken has invaded a spaceship. A lot more bullets here. There are 3 parts to it, even though it may not seem apparent. Have to destroy all 3 parts, and that is done. But there are differences from the 1991 original. For example, the journey to get to max power is a lot lighter. So you can see on the top left-hand side of the screen that I only have 4 levels to go to, and I'm almost at maximum. I just have to take care of this level right here. But also we got the P-pills, so you have to shoot the satellites for the P-pills in order to get to them. They don't explode on one shot, so I have to shoot it 4 times. I'm going to take this laser because it's going to make life a lot easier. So 4 levels for the main shot, 4 levels for the sub shot, and but unlike the last game, there is a reason to keep on picking up those P-pills, and that concerns what is on the left. So you can see, for example, I've already got my first extra life, and the next extend is a lot bigger than what it was on GG Aleste 1. So GG Aleste 1, it was every 100,000. In this game, it's going to get progressively larger until it just becomes a silly number. But because of that, there are things which are helping. So you can see 2 additional things. There is the round field generator, which is effectively my shield. Thank you very much. And so I've got that at the moment. It's a little blue bit, just like Gradius. And the number, all right, here is a boss, and I hate this boss because I hate this arm because it wants to follow me. I've already been hit. And hopefully I can get in front. And I'm dead. Right, fine. This is not going well, but it's okay. Thankfully, I have a bomb, and I'm going to use that bomb. Because this is now a 2-button game. So I have the 1 button to shoot my main shot and my sub shot simultaneously, but I also have these G strikes, which is the bar just underneath my main character, which is going to go up until 31. For every single 31, then I'm going to get another bomb to use. And this is more of a traditional shmup speedrun, in that not only do I have to remain as powerful as possible for as long as possible, so not die in the first stage, but I also have to have a little bit of bomb management. But of course, I think now I'm going to do this a little bit conservative as we go through into this next stage. And so, good news, this game, unlike the last one, actually did see a Western release. So here is a mini boss, and I'm going to just, wiggle my booty from one side to the other. There we go, that's done. I'm sure he'll be back. So this game did actually get a Western release. It came out in Europe. It did not come out in America, and considering what happened during the 90s and the many fantastic games that America got from Japan and Europe didn't, it's a bit weird to see it the other way around. So you'll see, I'm playing GG Aleste 2, but you'll see that the title on the stream is called Power Strike, and that is because that is the name of it. It was Power Strike 2, but I don't actually remember there being a Power Strike 1. So we have these little bases here, and here I am, my sole starfighter on this forest moon, trying to take care of every single one as they storm out. I'm sure that's not right, but I'm going to stick with it. But this is the reason why I chose my lasers, because it has that width. And am I going? Yes, I got my shield back. Fantastic. Has that width, and it allows me to control better here. So my main tactic is going to be during this stage, during this game, is to be able to basically shoot them before I'm shot. And that is another tactic as to what can differentiate a shmup from a speedrun. And when you talk about shmups as speedruns, it really is the key as to whether you can consider it as one, is how you're playing it compared to how you're playing it for a score. So, I suppose for latecomers also, I should probably explain why this is a speedrun and why this is, explain again why there has a timer at the bottom. It is because M2 added the ability to remove all slowdown, which is very helpful, and it makes it a lot. But unfortunately, there are limitations that it can't overcome when they're hard-coded in, such as that flicker there. So we got a barrage of missiles there, and we're coming up to this mini-boss part 2, and I've been hit. That is not very good. Clearly, this is going to be quite a questionable run, but it's okay. We've done the mini-boss. We've lost a shield, but we're only 10 or so PPLs away from that. So I'm going to use a bomb on this boss because I don't like that green eye. I don't like that green eye. I don't like his little laser thing. It looks like a lazy Jedi trying to poke my eye out with a lightsaber, and clearly that wasn't good enough. But there we go, that boss is done, and we go to the next stage. The next stage, which is, if I believe, is going to be quite interesting. Or maybe not. Sorry, I completely forgot how the game goes, because now, oh no, we're going to the bonus stage, which is a bit like Panzer Dragoon Mini. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to move my reticule over the enemy, 2, 3, 4, 5, and press the button 2, 3 at the corresponding times. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as you can hear, I am playing this on an arcade stick. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, no, 1, 2, 3, and it's not as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's not as generous as the other bonus stage in GG Aleste. I won't get as many points, but all of the points help, especially when I lost a life in the first stage, in order to recover that. So we're almost over. I love all superscalar games, so to see this implemented versus what was in the other one, yeah, I like that. So 90%, that gives me almost 90,000, so I'm nearing that next extent, and we're going to go into Bionic City. So I'm playing the Japanese version, but all of the names are in English. A lot of the stuff is in English. And I do have to question the naming conventions for this. There's not exactly a lot bionic going on about this city. It looks like it's being overrun by a bunch of crystals, but we'll forgive it for a moment because we have a lot of work to do in dodging all of these bullets. And it's very early in this game, but it's going to do that trick where it's just going to throw everything at you, and I'm going to have to do a lot of dodging. And obviously, with the current strength of my weapons. There, I've got my shield again, so I can be a little bit happier with that. So I never actually said who made these games. As I'm going to shoot these faces, thankfully I can shoot the bullets that come out of their mouths, but it does give me some Gradius nightmares, especially the third stage with the East Island weapons there. So, this was made by Compile. Compile obviously being most famous for making a game called Puyo Puyo. There we go, there's my one-up, hidden within the box. And I am going to dodge all of those. This is terrible. There we go, got some P-pills. I'm going to use the invincibility and go to the other side and hope that the lasers do the rest. No, I've been touched. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We're only 12 away. Okay, so we have this here, which looks like something I would make just by taking a random piece of metal and attaching plasticine to it. Unfortunately, I have to stay focused on shooting it. Only a little bit going out to the face. That is terrible. The face is continuing to shoot at me. And it's now that I'm realizing that I've probably been talking far too long at this tempo. I mean, I've been told that some people have called me an English Argic in the chat. Unfortunately, you can't get to that level of mastery. You need years and years of practice. I am but a mere pretender to the crown. So I've got finally my shield back, and it looks like we're going to get through this nicely. More of these terrifying faces, and hopefully I can begin to play this game properly. There we go. You'd think that all of these missiles would signify that it's the end of the stage, especially that all of these houses are now disappearing in Bionic City. But alas, apparently it is just a Bionic Park, and we're going to continue this stage in a little bit. But we are coming towards the boss. I do have one bomb, which I am going to use, so it should be nice. I'm obviously too early with this speech and probably should have timed it better. There we go. First of all, we have 4 faces, and I feel absolutely terrible doing this destruction to them, but alas, I need to do it. There we go onwards, and now we come to a boss, which is a floating guy with a scorpion for a tail, so I'm going to use a bomb because I'm too scared to deal with that. And there we go, that is done. We're going to the next stage, and I desperately need some water.
Certainly well earned, and I can see the parallels between you and Argic. Definitely see that.
No, he can go for hours and hours. I need everyone's energy out there because, you know, I'm a shmup player, therefore I can only operate for 20 minutes. So we're in the ancient ruins now, which I'm pretty sure I've been here before, like 25 minutes ago, but we'll do this anyway. As you can see, the progress in terms of the backgrounds here, we now have copy-pasted heads that are going in the background. Now, if anyone thinks this is a random sci-fi thing that is basically saying, like Stargate, that which would come out a year later, that Egyptians were in fact aliens, no, this does in fact take place on Earth on 2070, so just a few years after the events of GG Aleste 1, and we will talk about that a little bit later, but instead we will take in the wonderful views of this barren desert, filled with faces. I feel like I've passed too many of them, so I'm going to abuse the fact that I've got this laser, go just lure their bullets from one side to the other. We got a lot of pyramids. They apparently built a lot of pyramids in the next 50 years, or I'm just flying around in circles. That is also another possibility. But we're coming to a mini-boss now, and this mini-boss is this random skeleton snake that's firing at me, and it has a head that splits. What can I say? I can destroy all its shots, and it's over. And I always thought that these bouncing balls would actually harm me, but alas, it took me probably the 5th playthrough to realise that I could just stand still. And we continue more with all of these enemies inexplicably rising out from the ground. It's not exactly the first time that it's happened in shmups. You get tanks that are buried under sand, and you just feel bad for the poor tank drivers. But there we go. And we are just going to sway from one side to the other. Now, one of the tricks in getting accepted into the speedrun community is being able to associate your run with something much more popular. So I always tell people, this is Metropolis Zone Act 3. This is the fight between Sonic and Eggman. Now, if you're at home, please hum along to the Sonic 2 boss music to make me feel a little bit better. So we have to destroy these rings 3 times, and then we'll be able to destroy him properly. Of course, we can't get in front of him because of all of these bullets that are being spewed my way. That is why I'm going to keep... Oh, stay there. Why I'm going to keep Are you going to come? Why I am going to keep this for as long as possible. There we go, that's a little bit more, and this unfortunately is a time where I'm going to lose a lot of time, but thankfully the game takes pity on me, so I'm going to take the napalm, which is going to work exactly the same as it did in GG Aleste 1. It's going to take care of all of the bullets that it touches coming my way, which is not necessarily all of the bullets, but it helps. So we're nearly at the end, we've destroyed all 3 of them, we just need to stay in front and shoot as much as possible. Why is this taking so long? And this is why I'm the weakest at this game compared to GG Aleste 1, because unfortunately I need yes, go for it.
I totally get the analogy with Sonic 1, and in fact it just seems like a trope with some games. They really like to reuse that sort of boss, but
yes, that took a minute and a half. Yeah, that is world record, unfortunately, out the window. So I needed to save one of the bomb. We're going through the bonus stage, and it's going to be more tapping. Unfortunately, it's only 40 seconds, so not really a right time to. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I should probably make this interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. There we go, thank you. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So obviously the entire game I'm just holding down the button. This is the only time that I actually need to tap the button. There we go. And obviously drives my neighbours crazy, because I have to say the numbers, otherwise I don't remember how many times I've shot. There we go, 94%, that is 80,000. Am I going to get that next extend? Probably. Oh, so we're going to carry on, and this is Cyber Road. We are nearly at the end. Now, unfortunately, we're coming back to the naming convention, I think. Is this really right? No, I'm going to use the bomb for this, because I hate that sword. There we go, mini-boss is done. So, obviously it was during the period in the early 90s where basically cyber became a buzzword. You had reboots, you had Lawnmower Man, obviously all of it based on Neuromancer, and in a couple of years' time you would have Scotland's finest, Johnny Lee Miller, telling anyone and everyone that willing to listen to hack the planet. Certainly it was a way to seem cool by seeming cyber, but then you realise that cyber was in fact a word before that, and it meant talking about control, and that's what the story is all about. So a couple of years after GG Aleste, they installed a brand new space satellite that was going to defend them all, and of course things went badly very quickly. So it's being controlled by a parasite that I'm making my way towards right now, with a brand new ship which magically they were able to create for me. How did I not get hit? And left various boxes in my way. So we are coming to the penultimate stage. That means we are having to deal with the gauntlet yet again. So in terms of the speed run, in terms of considering this as a speed run, I just need to not get hit, which is obviously easier said than done. So we are coming up to the final approach. We're going to find a giant robot encased in that, and every time I see a giant robot out in space, I obviously think about a Gundam Wing, and I just want to burst out in just while beats communication. But alas, in 25 years, I have never learned the words, except for just while beat communication and tonight. But thankfully, we're going to play a little bit of rope-a-dope first with these fists on a string. So I'm going to float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That is the first one down, and now we're going to the second one, and I do not have enough G-extends. This is going to be interesting. And this is going to be, unfortunately, a little bit longer than I anticipated. But alas, we have this giant robot fight. We have one side that's done, and we have the second time. We have words which are being said, which are attempted to be said. So this little white ball of light, I'm going to have to avoid it completely. Going to do a little loop. Obviously, he's going to try and kill me. And stay on target. Stay on target. No, I'm not going to take the napalm. I'm not going to fall for your trap. I can do this. I can do this, Finn. Why am I talking to myself? Okay, one more. No, come on. Please die. Oh, I mean, it's been so long since I took away your left and right arm, but there we go. We are done. We are going to the final stage with 6 lives. Oh, okay. No, we're not even going to the giant ship because we don't need to warp anywhere, because here we are into Algo, and that's because the satellite's name was Algo. Same as before, don't get hit. That's the rule here. We're going through the biophase because obviously we're going through the biophase. Every shmup goes through the biophase, and I don't know how I've not been hit there. I don't know how I've not been hit for a lot of things. Come on. There we go. Obviously I've been doing this for far too long, and we've got this, what looks like a dodgy 70s sci-fi prop, as if it was in Doctor Who, but there we go. We're going to just stay front and center. All of these pupils, it's very helpful, but not exactly necessary. Life is more necessary. There we go. And we're going through the second half of this stage. Again, things are going to come out of nowhere, but thankfully it kind of makes sense because we're in the middle of space. Space. Collect all of the P-pills so we have enough of the bombs, because we're going to need every single one of them, but not too many, because I'm going to probably die a lot for the final boss. And there we go. That is the hit. But because I collected so many P-pills, it means I immediately get back my shield. Okay, so boss time. I'm going to use the bomb. If I have a bomb available, I'm going to use the bomb. And he's going to look at me sometimes, and my cat wants to come out, but before that, we have to deal with this. I got hit by that. Now, there is some dynamic difficulty here, in that if I die enough times, then it's going to get slightly... I'm going to die so many times. Okay. But it's okay, because every single time I'm going to get a bomb which is going to come my way. And there we go. So it's changed to just 3 shots there. And the tongue is now ever so slightly smaller. So that is nice and easy for me. And I'm going to take that. And my cat wants to come out. Fantastic. All right, so we're doing this a little bit longer. Got to position myself as if it's a bullet hell game, but alas, there we go. First boss is done, and now we're going to the creepiest thing of all time. It is... Take that. It is a giant face in the wall. It is Attack on Titan. And I'm going to attack its nose, or where its nose should be. So... No! Bomb. Okay, no, that's fine. But it's okay, because we have a bomb, and I'm going to use that. And 1, 2, left... I think we're just going to bomb spam. I think we've deserved the right. There we go. That's time. Oh, that is time.
GG. Nice.
GG Aleste to GG. And we have afterwards, again, another inexplicable 3-minute long cutscene, even though about 10 to 15 people actually worked on this game. But alas, if you actually play this game and you want to submit a time to the leaderboard, you have to wait until the end. Thankfully, that was not a PB.
Wow, today I learned, and at least there are a couple more frames in this.
Exactly. I mean, this is almost this is almost a sci-fi classic. The speed at which it's going is truly incredible. The things that we've been able to achieve in terms of Game Gear cutscenes in only 2 years.
A cultural touchstone. Thank you so much for showing off the first and second of the Aleste games. We did have a little chat, sort of when we were preparing this episode. Apparently there's a third, and that's something that you run as well.
Sorry, I probably shouldn't have heard that whilst drinking. Well, I mean, yes. So obviously I'm a little bit early, so we can go back to that. As you can see, those texts are in Japanese. So this is the entirety of the collection. We have Aleste on the Master System, Power Strike on the Master System, and then we have these two. So 1901 GG Aleste, 93 GG Aleste 2, and then on the night before Christmas 2020, GG Aleste 3 was released. So this was a brand, in fact, we can just go in there and put it on the attract screen. This was a brand new Aleste game made for the Game Gear. So it exists as a Game Gear ROM, and there we see M2 there from everyone's favorite emulation. And this is a game, so it doesn't exist as a physical Game Gear cartridge. It only exists as part of this collection here, or a special edition of one of those Game Gear Micros, the ones that came with the actual magnifying glass attached to them. So there is a special one for that. There exists no physical cartridge for it, and also because it's brand new and it wasn't something that you could be based on what it did before, then it's based on score rather than being based on time. So we can see here that we have the score at the bottom instead of having a timer there. But as you can see, I mean, look at this. This is a Game Gear game. This is a Game Gear game. This is absolutely fantastic. It will probably run terribly on original hardware, but I mean, we have everything. Look at the spiders. I mean, we talk about Sonic, but, all I wanted to do whilst playing Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is destroy these spiders once and for all. And this game gives me the ability to do that as we go up this absolutely beautiful, absolutely stunning 8-bit missile there. It is fantastic. Incredible. So certainly, if you're going to do another Game Gear, what are we calling it now? A Game Gear Gaggle. If you're doing another Game Gear Gaggle, then certainly I will bring this, and we will do all of this again, and I will probably lose my ability to speak. In fact, no, we probably won't be able to get that enough time. But it does a weird little thing like Battletoads, where you're having this fake 3D effect in terms of going around a circle in this missile. So if I can't go to the far left of the screen or the far right of the screen, I'm just going around the missile. So if I go round, then the power-ups go away, the little ships go away, and it's imaginative, because obviously it's a game that was made in 2020, by people that loved shmups, that done a lot of work with Cave, Tower Plan, Rising, so they knew what they were doing, and they made what is unironically the best shmup of 2020, and it was a Game Gear game. This is absolutely incredible, and definitely I would love to show this in the future with a full playthrough. In terms of what you can achieve with old consoles, I mean, I'm also a Neo Geo gamer, so the way that people are able to push the Neo Geo using ridiculous cartridge sizes is, if given less limitations, it's absolutely beautiful. But alas, the gaggle must go on.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. If people want to find you and what you do,
it's a bit weird, but if you want to hear me in English, you follow the name that is currently on the screen on Twitch and on Twitter, and also on my Twitch there is links to the things that I do in French and German as well, if you're interested in that. But yes, mostly English on Wearing Thin.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much once again, everybody. That was a nice collection of Aleste speedrunning. We are going to be moving on to some Sonic the Hedgehog speedrunning. I feel like my shows get quite self-indulgent at some points, and this is definitely a point of self-indulgence. So we are going to be having a quick break, and then we will move swiftly over. We've got to move swiftly. It's Sonic. Got to move swiftly, I think his catchphrase was. And we will be onto that very soon. But thank you so much for Wearing Thin, everybody. Make sure you stay active and stay hydrated, and we will be back.
Thanks all. Bye bye.
Welcome back, everyone. We had a collection. I need to think of different synonyms for a group of things, because we've got a gaggle of Game Gear games today. We had Aleste earlier, courtesy of Wearing Thin. If that's something that you've missed and you're catching us on Twitch at the moment, then if you keep an eye on YouTube, Games Done Quick, you will be able to find the full VOD of this. So if you missed the ones earlier, or if you're going to miss some of the runs later, they are definitely worth checking out. You can find us on there, and you can catch up with any of the hotfixes that you have missed. But we are speeding our way into the Sonic 8-bit trilogy. I know a lot of people will be familiar with the 16-bit trilogy, but the 8-bit trilogy on the Game Gear is a completely different affair, and Final Flame will be taking us through this. Hello Flame.
So, to explain what we're doing, because there are way too many Sonic games on the Game Gear. If you're going by just Sonic series games, I think there's a total of 12. We are doing the first 3. We're doing Sonic 1, which you're seeing the track screen on screen right now. We're doing Sonic 2 and Sonic Chaos. All in all, should take us, will hopefully take us under an hour. All the games are pretty unique in how they're run. The physics, the movement is different between the games, and we will get into that. But I think I'm ready to go. Hibby, are you ready?
I was born ready. Let's
Let me
go.
wait to get back to this screen, because there we go. Knew that was going to happen.
We love demos.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, go. Thank you.
Good luck.
So kicking it off with not the first Sonic game to come out. This one actually did come out after Sonic 1 Genesis, but it is still Sonic the Hedgehog 1. We do not have a spin dash. We do not have a peel out. We don't have any crazy jumping we can do. We do have invincibility. We have speed shoes, and we are now going places across the stage very fast. I don't know where I am.
Boy.
Except I actually know where I am. Here I am. And I'm going to try and hit the signpost. Ooh, definitely wanted to hit it slower than that. All right, so for movement speed tech, you're going to see a lot of running. You're going to see rolling down slopes. You're also going to see us rolling off of corners, and we get a little boost off of that. You will see that plenty in this run. So one thing I want to bring up, I didn't do a great job of showing it there, but I am going to try and hit these signposts either slowly or kind of jump into the middle. So when you hit the signpost, if you hit it with a lot of speed, it's going to go flying up in the air, and it takes a while for it to come down. We do not want that. So I try and hit it such that it finishes its movement, I suppose you could say, very quickly. I was supposed to roll off the corner there, didn't quite work. So we're taking a slow path through water. Those are checkpoints right there. You are not going to see me collect many during this run. There is one I will be collecting. Flying jump. Let's go. I missed. Okay.
Oh no.
Oh, and then that enemy just sniped me. You know, let's take that checkpoint just in case. So this stage is kind of interesting. I do have to... Okay, that was unintended. That was kind of funny.
Interesting.
I'm going to wait for this platform because I can't actually make the jump without landing on the platform. You do need to be careful here. You can do a little boost off the corner, and then you can actually go flying past the signpost, and you will have soft-locked the game. Don't do that. It's actually it's pretty easy to do if you know how to do it, but you don't want to do that.
Yeah, especially here, it helps if... Yeah, don't do that.
So for timing for this game, in the Trilogy, we time this RTA, real-time attack, just straight real-time. Normally, this game is timed in RTA minus TB. What that stands for, real-time attack minus time bonus. As I wait for this boss here, going to get in all the hits here pretty quickly. And the reason being is, otherwise, I would want to slow myself down to get worse in-game times, to get a lower score countdown, a faster score countdown, time countdown. It kind of feels bad when you have to just stand around waiting, but for simplicity purposes, we just time the Trilogy in RTA. That is our first stage done. On to Bridge Zone, where I hope I don't fall into a pit or water, or just find another way of dying. That's a shield. You do not want those shields in this game. You don't want anything that gives a lot of lag, like running across that bridge. That's bad. One of the important parts of playing this game is reducing lag. I don't actually need that checkpoint, but since it's right there, why not? So you're seeing a lot of rolls that look like I should die during them, and they're actually completely safe. Yeah, this game is a thing. Chaos Emeralds, they're in this game as well. They're just sitting out in the open. There are 6 in total. We will not be getting them. They don't really do anything. If you collect them all, you get a special bonus at the end of your run, which is actually leads into another category of Sonic 1. You have beat the game, and then you also have max special bonus, which requires a lot of stuff that I have time to talk about because we're in an auto-scroller. Yeah!
Let's go!
Good old 1 minute, 56 seconds of auto-scroller. So for max special bonus, it's kind of an interesting category. It's pretty cool, and it's not one I have any intentions on ever running. You have to collect all Chaos Emeralds. You have to collect all extra lives. There's 1 in each stage. You have to not die. You have to go to all the bonus stages, and I believe you might have to collect the continues in those bonus stages. And then you will get the maximum special bonus, which I do not recall how many it is, or how much it is. But just one small mistake, you die, the run's over. I can't bring myself to do that. So
That's quite a strange statement coming from somebody who, in fact, almost the whole speedrunning landscape has ran Sonic Jam for the Gamecom.
There's nothing wrong with Sonic Jam for the Tiger Gamecom. Maybe that'll be the next trilogy I run.
Oh no.
So one thing I am doing is I'm actually avoiding... Gotta get off there so I don't die. I am avoiding a lot of rings. I want to finish with under 50. If I finish with 50 or more rings, I will enter a bonus stage when I hit the signpost. And that takes time. We do not want that. So you're seeing me deliberately avoiding some of these. If I end up with too many, I can always take intentional damage. There's the extra life for this section. I like this jump right here. The game just decides, yeah, you're close enough. We'll just shoot you up the rest of the way. That should be good on rings. Sonic's gotta get his exercise.
You mentioned it earlier, and it hasn't escaped my mind. When you were referring to Sonic, the 16-bit, the Genesis version, you did call it Sonic Genesis, and I thought, oh no, that's taking me to a dark place.
Oh gosh, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, luckily this isn't a Sonic episode exclusively. This is just we're staying on the Game Gear. We're not moving over to the Game Boy version of that game.
I tried it one stage. That was enough.
Yeah, understandable. I totally get that.
So this boss on the Game Gear version is simple, but also occasionally kills me for absolutely no reason. Hopefully we don't see that. So we could just jump into him and die. That's the way I know I die. Like I know why I died there. Let's try that again.
Just tell them it's a strat. You're manipulating the boss.
RNG manipulation for the next stage, which is one of the worst. All right, so we just roll into him like this. I think if you're too close to the sides, his projectile he shoots out can hit you and kill you, and that's what normally will kill me in this stage. Sonic did not want to roll there, so this might take an extra cycle. Nope. Okay. That's right. I can afford a death. Hopefully, because I guarantee I'm going to have some deaths in this next stage. Jungle Zone. You know, most of the rest of this game is going to be a lag fest, to be perfectly honest. And Jungle 1 is where it truly begins. So I'm going to just... Hibby, you could talk during the stage. I'm going to try and not die.
Alrighty, well, I think that the most that I've seen of, especially the Sonic 1 8-bit versions of the game, like I've seen a lot of it mainly on the Master System. I know that we don't quite get the field of view as we do on that console, but it looks like, I mean, I'm still impressed with what the Game Gear can do to this day, and we saw some really impressive hardware, like just what it could process for Aleste, and I think that, especially with this stage, it just looks really nice. I think it looks impressive, and potentially a bit of a bitrate hell when it comes to the fountain, but
I'm off screen. All right, that was good. I struggle so much with that stage, so I'm happy we got through it. It's just really easy to have an inputs eaten, and yeah, go for a swim on a nice summer day. So I do want to talk about this stage, Jungle 2. There's a big difference in this stage. You're going to see me take it a little easy again. Because of lag and eaten inputs. There's a big difference in this stage between the Master System version and the Game Gear version. If you are playing this on Master System, you cannot fall on this stage. If you fall, you die. There's a screen lock that actually follows you up. Whereas on the Game Gear, probably because you don't have a lot that you can see to begin with, they removed that, which is very good. You can see all this lag I am dealing with. It's so bad, and this is why I just try and take this stage a little bit easy. Yeah, I kind of like the Game Gear version. You're okay if you fall, although you don't want to fall, period.
This is the climb. There's sometimes climbs in Sonic games, but this is the climb.
Yeah, so that wasn't exactly a quick climb, but I didn't fall down, so I'm actually really happy with that.
Nice.
Jungle 3, the boss. I'm pretty sure this is the farthest I ever got in this game when I was younger. So growing up, I had a Game Boy, but my brother had a Game Gear, and he had Sonic 1 and 2, which was my introduction to the Sonic series. But I could never get far in the games. So this is, I think, as far as I got because, you know, eating inputs once again.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, I need 8 hits. I need to dodge those balls. I did not do a good job at dodging those balls. How big is the Game Gear screen? I think it's a little bit bigger than the Game Boy. I don't have my Game Boy in front of me to compare right now. Hey Sonic, go up, please.
All right, we can do some fact checking on the screen size. What do you do with this boss?
Okay. Whoa. 8. Okay.
Hey.
You would think we're through it. We are not through the stage yet. We have one more important thing. Okay, now we're through it. And I need to hit the capsule. Yeah, like you can easily have your input eaten there. No joke, it's not a given until you get over that last jump.
So apparently the Game Gear, the size of the screen was a 3.2 inch, which isn't ginormous. Give it credit.
Don't die. All right, so welcome to the water level. I tried to do a little skip there, and it didn't quite go my way. Okay. Oh no, I got the shield. Okay, you know what? I got an idea.
Oh my!
There we go. We lost the
shield.
We do not want that shield, because even though, yes, it seems like safety, the amount of lag you get, it's not worth it. So we're going to do some of those corner rolls here. And that was not exactly how I wanted to do that one. The game said, huh? A roll? You're not getting that here. There's a checkpoint. We're not getting that. I would like some air. This is the longest 5-second countdown you will ever see, by the way. I am going to play it safe and grab air because I am going slow through this stage. I hope I'm getting air.
Please.
I would like to get some air.
Please.
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 There's air. Okay.
Ooh.
And now the only glitches you will hopefully see in the runs. There's our first zip. There's a zip here that is much harder to do. And I failed it right away. Zipping up the right side, it's much more difficult because of how it works. The game really wants to eject you to the left. And I tried to avoid that, but I wasn't given much time to avoid that. You will see another zip in Act 2, potentially. Fun fact about that ring box, if you hit the switch that was briefly on screen over at the left side, that will turn into your extra life for that stage. I have 4 extra lives right now. Knock on wood. I hope I'm okay. I better be okay.
So do I.
All right, our second water level. Don't die to that guy right at the start. It's really easy to forget he's there and just, you know, give him a nice big hug. Alright, so not much going on as of yet. I just want to avoid obstacles. Don't want to actually boost off of those corners. I would not have minded that air. Notice how I turned left to take a damage boost in a direction I wanted, and I am going to take that checkpoint just in case. It's right along the path, so it's not out of the way. Let's wait for the air again. Actually, yeah, I could have gone without it. Oh, okay. Dodge getting hit there. And will I get the zip here? Somehow got that zip.
Ooh, clean.
Yeah, we'll call that clean. Totally. That was 100% intended. A nice little damage boost there to the right. I accidentally found that. I'm sure it's nothing new, but it looks cool. And I'll gladly take credit for it. Now it's an extremely slow climb with, again, the longest 5 seconds you will ever see. Okay, we are mostly safe. I say mostly because I have died to that before at the very end. And then we will be done. Oh, look, Chaos Emerald we don't need. We will be done with Labyrinth 2. And onto a pain in the butt boss because we're going to be bouncing on him over a pit. The fun thing about this stage, at the very top left is where the extra life is. So if you're doing max special bonus, you actually almost need to bring a shield to the stage because there's so many spikes up there. And there's no rings in boss stages, by the way, in case you haven't noticed.
Yeah, that's pretty mean.
All right. I had a feeling I was going to die there. I did not like my speed going in.
That's rude. That's rude of the game.
This game is not easy. The hardest one is first. All right, I do need to be a little bit careful now. 1, 2. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we're safe.
Okay.
I don't think I have a chance of dying now. 7, 8. It is actually possible to do that in 4 and 4. It is extremely difficult, and I was not going to risk it. Because it's one thing to do it in a PB run where, oh, I messed it up, I reset. It's a whole other thing to do it in a marathon setting and game over, because this game does not have level select.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, it's difficult. So you'll recognize this stage name. We are off the Scrap Brain, which is very different than the Scrap Brain you are probably familiar with in Sonic 1 on the Sega Genesis. Just completely different level layouts, although the assets do look pretty similar. I could use an extra life and immediately lose it because I didn't get a jump.
You've been baited there.
I was baited. Oh. This is a video game.
Does it respawn though? Because I know that there are a few games that if you die, it appears, but it doesn't appear back.
Nope,
it's not there.
Gone.
That's rough.
All right, made it through that corridor without taking damage. That's a pain. That's okay. I should be okay on lives from this point forward. Famous last words. Hit that switch, open the door. If you hit it again, it'll close the door. Why do I say that? Because that is going to be relevant in this next stage, or is it the stage after? Oh, I just blindly ran into the signpost, not thinking. That's a couple seconds lost. I think it's Scrap Brain. No, it is. We'll see. There's probably a bunch of them. This next stage is kind of interesting. It's split up into multiple parts. I will be taking an intentional death, which is scary to think about since I've already taken how many unintentional deaths? But it is well worth it in time save. First, I gotta make it through this climb. This is a pain because of projectiles, and the platforms just want me going anywhere else. I hate this room. I truly do.
And I imagine the dropped inputs are certainly not on your side for that.
Oh, dropped inputs in this game? I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm going to do a roll here, and then I am going to focus for a moment to try and do a right input at the correct time to skip a chunk of the stage. Right there. Perfect. You're meant to fall down and go back to the top right through a teleporter like that and slowly climb down, but we can skip all that. So I'm going to open that door on the left by hitting that button. The problem is it also closes a door behind me, so now I'm stuck. So I can just take an intentional death right here, and we will actually respawn at the entrance to this room, not at the start of the stage, which allows us to not have to redo that whole section we had just done. As I make sure I don't die in that room, because that's easy to do. And with that, we are here at the end of the stage. There we go. That's how I want to hit that. So Scrap Brain 3 will feature Robotnik, but we're not going to be fighting a boss. The stage is a maze. You need to know the way to go, or else you will get stuck and pretty much get sent back to the start. So some of these gates only open in one direction, which is how you can kind of get stuck somewhere. There's an extra life we will not be getting. Mostly because it's out of the way, and I also don't know the path to get it, because I've never really needed to.
Speaking of getting stuck, I notice it's quite, well, there's a theme with the 8-bit games that there isn't a timer in the top left. Can you time out on a stage for being in there for too long?
I don't know that I've actually tried, to be honest with you. Now that you say
Speedrunners
that,
would never know.
Probably. I imagine there is an internal timer, which helps determine your score countdown. So, important note for the next 3 stages, there is a pretty heavy flashing lights warning for the rest of Sonic 1, unfortunately. So, if that is an issue, I strongly recommend looking away until we reach Sonic 2. So, we have 3 stages left to go. Sky Base 1, pretty tricky. So I kind of have it choreographed on how I want it to go. And then hopefully will not fall down. I'll also be taking some intentional damage. For no reason other than that's just how I learned to do the stage. That's a good enough reason, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna wait here. I don't want to get hit by the lightning.
Yeah, there's certainly some flashing lights.
One platform to jump off of. And then I'm going to take this slightly safe because I do not want to lose any more lives. And here we are done with that stage. Act 2. I don't know, Hibby. Do I want to go to Extra Life Heaven?
Ooh. I don't know. I don't know, do you?
I have 4. We'll see if I get through this first try. All right, so blind jumps. Let's go. You're not necessarily meant to do this. All right, I wasn't going to do this, but we're just going to chill for a bit. Because otherwise, we are sitting through over 50 seconds of time bonus countdown. None of us want that. I have 4 lives. I'll be good going into the final boss.
Oh, hey, that's the RTA strats.
It is, and I feel filthy for doing that, but we're talking like 10 seconds versus literally 50 seconds.
Yeah, I totally get the decision
Yeah.
behind that.
Into the final boss, I will be switching games once I enter the teleporter after the boss. So we need to get something like 10 to 12 hits, I believe, on this. I don't remember exactly how. I'm going to try and clip into this little tube where Robotnik is. If that doesn't work, I do have a backup strat. Oh, of course I got knocked out. All right, backups, because I don't want to go through my lives. Why did I let go of right? You know, let's just try that again.
Yeah, let's go. You can do it.
1, 2. Okay. I might be okay. I'm clipped in, but I do still need to be careful of that thing in the top center coming out and hitting me, and it did not. So I'm about to switch games over to Sonic 2.
Nice.
All right,
work.
that is
Well
Sonic
done.
1. We got through Sonic 1. All right, this game's much easier. And the only reason I can say that is because I've ran this game for many years at this point, whereas Sonic 1 is much more new to me. So the movement we're going to be doing in this game is this. You're going to see a lot of roll jumping. We still do not have a spin dash. We do not have a peel out. Those will make their appearance in Sonic Chaos, our next game. Also the shortest game and the easiest game. So already done with the stage. Nice. I definitely should have done a little bit of a glitch there to keep the timer going. I don't know why I didn't do that. So for this game, I mentioned all the roll jumps, and that's really what you're going to be hearing. You're going to have this long countdown. I am holding a button to speed it up. If I let go of either 1 or 2, this thing will just count down extremely slow. This game for me, I'd say, is pretty simple. The bosses can be troublesome, especially in Underground 3. That is a very infamous boss to anyone that has played this game or seen it. Especially if you watch someone play this for their first time. It's much easier on the Master System version, but on Game Gear, they decided to make it a nightmare. I am going to do one thing here for safety. I'm going to go to the top route and grab a Chaos Emerald. In this game, the Chaos Emeralds, if you collect all 6, you unlock Crystal Egg Zone and can go do the true ending of the game. You can defeat Robotnik, you have 3 more stages. But they also give you a continue. So if we do have an issue, I now have that backup continue. This game
Sorry,
also...
was the final stage called Crystal Egg?
Crystal Egg Zone.
I love that. That's so good.
It also got really good music that I initially did not like at all, but it grew on me when I was playing Best Ending.
Ah, nice.
So the boss of Underground Zone, the infamous Ant Lion. Destroyer of runs, destroyer of probably game cartridges. So the issue in this version is, so we're going to have 6 or 7 balls thrown at us. I can tell you right now it'll be 7 for the pattern I'm going to get. At variable heights, with variable gaps in between each, and they are pretty hard to dodge. And we have no rings in boss stages in this game. What a surprise. That's a common theme during this whole trilogy run. The pattern is not completely random. It's based on the time you spent in the stage getting to this point, so I know exactly which pattern I'm going to get right now, which is a pattern I'm most familiar with.
Nice. But why does Eggman save you?
To that, my answer has always been, have you ever played this boss? Surviving this boss can be harder than surviving lava.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that makes sense.
I get that. I get questioned on every run I do with this game. Every time.
I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one thinking it, so
Probably
it's always
not.
worth asking.
Oh, the soundtrack to this game, I love it. Especially, that's the biggest difference I hate between the two versions. Which stage is this? Okay. Is the boss theme in Game Gear I love. I don't care for the one in the Master System version. Should I go for Sky Jump that I haven't done in a long time?
I mean, you've just mentioned it, so you're legally obliged to now, I'm afraid. I didn't make the rules.
Anything. All right. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Okay.
Getting that invincibility kind of threw me off. I wasn't trying to get that. So you can actually skip that hang glider by doing, I think it's a 2-frame window to get a jump that I have not practiced in a long time. So it probably wouldn't have been wise for me to do that. Although it's not instant death if you miss it. You fall down, you're in a bottomless pit, but you actually can walk along that bottomless pit while you have invincibility frames. Don't ask why.
It's interesting. Somebody suggested that, they'd read in a guide that if Sonic were to die, what would Robotnik do for fun? Which, I mean, the world conquest thing seems quite up his alley, and I imagine that's probably what he'd do for fun, but I guess no one's there to stop him.
Probably. So that was a really good stage, by the way. I hope you didn't blink.
I blinked.
I'm really happy with that one. If you were doing best ending, which is getting all those emeralds and then fighting Robotnik in Crystal Egg Zone, the emerald in that stage is a pain to get. It's just a very tight window, at least in the speedrun setting. I say it every time. I don't even know how to get that emerald casually. No idea. Another tricky boss here. We have a bird coming up. It's a multi-phase boss. We have to first break these eggs, dodge these little chickens here. That's a good start. That is not a good middle. And I'm going to take this one a little easy just to set me up better for the boss. I want to be on the right side just so I can do this. One thing of note that you can't really tell, when I am ricocheting off the boss, I am holding right until I hit the wall and then holding left to get back to the boss quicker. That's very important to do in best ending for the final boss. And it does add up in a lot of times save. It allows you to get back to the boss quicker. You don't want that boss going off screen. You don't want it to shoot projectiles. If you hit it quick enough, it will not fire. All right, water level, yay! This first stage is actually not too bad. Aqua Lake 2 is a bit of a mess, but I still like it. You have a nice little flag ending here, assuming I don't mess it up. Oh, that was almost perfect. If you do that just right, you'll actually land on the block that spring is attached to. There, I don't want to sit down through a super long time bonus. What I just did after hitting that signpost, if you pause and unpause the game, the timer will actually restart. So I just saved us like 15 seconds in time bonus countdown. Actually, maybe not
pausing
quite
to
that
save
much.
time.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Nice.
welcome to Sonic. So this stage is kind of a maze, and it is a very laggy stage. I do need to focus here for just a moment. Hit right at the exact moment to bounce off that enemy and jump over that spike pit. You can see how much speed I retained until I screwed that up. I haven't done that before. Oh gosh, please let me through. So if you don't do that, there's an invincibility box on the left side. By the way, you can drown in this stage. You don't see that normally in a speedrun. Okay. Oh, that got a little shaky. Yeah, whoops. But yeah, invincibility adds a lot of lag. We don't want it. It's super slow. These bubbles you control with up, down, left, and right, and I did not mean to come down here. I missed the bubble. Well, you get to hear the invincibility theme. Because you're totally not hearing that later on. No way.
I love the Blues Brothers.
So up, down, left, right. They actually just hold up to go faster, but you do need to hold down for that section. Once I hit a wall, this will disappear. So to reference a question in chat about the hang glider, because I could never figure that out as a kid, you literally just tap left when you're on it, and you tend to keep your height. I had to speedrun this game to learn that. All right, we're almost at the end. I am going to save like a chunk of time right here because there's a hidden path in that wall that brings you right to the end. if you ever go down, unless you're getting a Chaos Emerald, if you go down to the section underneath here, I'm sorry. Just reset your Game Boy. Call it a day.
We've got somebody wondering whether this game has the super terrifying, childhood scarring drowning animation / music.
It doesn't have the music. I couldn't tell you the last time I actually did drown, so I don't remember what the animation is. It's something I try to avoid.
That's a chat response if I've ever heard one. It's like, drowning, I wouldn't know.
So this boss, one of the consequences on playing on the Game Gear instead of the Master System is screen crunch, so I don't have as much space for this boss that I would like. So I do have to take it a little bit safer than I would on Master System and do these bounces on the seal. Also, do not stand next to the seal or you will get tail whipped into oblivion. Yeah, that's happened to me way too many times. That doesn't happen to Master System. I don't know why they added it to Game Gear. It's like they purposely went out of their way to make Game Gear like as difficult as possible. They didn't want people beating it. I don't know what they were thinking. But hey, we're halfway through Sonic 2. Now on to Green Hills. Do not confuse this with Green Hill from Sonic 1. It's not. This one has many hills, not just one. So this is Extra Lives, the game. If you made it this far and you're down to 1 life or so, congratulations. Have an extra life. Have an extra life. There's more. I don't know if we'll get any more, but there are more in this stage. Jumped a little early, couldn't quite make it across that gap. I swear they changed that gap, so it's much harder to make in Game Gear versus Master System. There's an extra life there. I also just passed over an extra life. I also have 95 rings. I could have collected 5 more to get an extra life. I guess the game takes pity on you at this point, or maybe because it knows what the Green Hills boss is like. Destroyer of many runs. And we'll have more extra lives in this stage as well. In Act 2. Oh, I didn't want to do that. That's okay. So I won't actually get this extra life because I won't have the speed I normally have. Maybe I'll just jump under it instead. Chaos Emerald in this stage is pretty easy to get, but we don't need it. I have essentially 8 lives if you factor in a continue. But right above me is the Chaos Emerald in this stage. But right in front of me is the end of the stage.
Nice.
Act 3 is going to be Spike Hell. I kind of divided up into 3 portions. The first one is half springs, half spikes. The second one is almost entirely spikes. You are going to see every spring in the part of it, but it's actually pretty simple to get through, and every time I say that, I die, so get ready for a death. So right here, it's mostly hold right in this section, except right there. And now we're back to holding right, and we will make it to the boss. I'm going to regret this. Alright, 1 hit. 2 hits. I'm not getting a great pattern right now. 4 hits. I really don't like that pattern. This will be 6 hits. And 8 hits. Okay. So to explain that boss, you can either get 1 hit or 2 hits in per cycle, depending on what the boss does. When the boss lands and immediately shakes, you can only get in 1 hit. If it kind of sits there for a bit before shaking, you can get in 2. You need to be committed, because if you change your mind at the last moment, you're dead. Guaranteed. And Screen Crunch is a nightmare for that boss. So it's actually quite useful for the Gimmick Mountain boss. At least there's something good. Alright, so using these pinwheels to climb all the way to the very top. Oh, that was a good launch. Going to avoid those bombs and take this invincibility. I'm going to ideally hold this to the very end of the stage to skip a decent chunk of the stage, and so far we are on good pace to do so. So you're meant to go to the bottom left of the stage. Oh, that's bad. Go to the bottom left of the stage and then make a climb up. Take a minecart all the way down here to the bottom left. But with invincibility, you could just get across that long spike pit and hit the signpost that's at the bottom left of the stage. Why? Just why? What were they thinking?
Bigger things.
Yeah. I gotta stay hydrated. Alright, what are the odds I don't take damage in this first part? That's what I thought. I just pretty much routed in that damage at this point. So one thing I passed was a false wall on the left side. If you are ever doing best ending or just looking for the emeralds in general, the emerald for this stage is in there. That was a nice little clip I just did above a spring that was unintended, but has happened to me before. Unfortunately, it doesn't really do anything other than mess up what I was about to do because I'm shocked that happened. Can I do a perfect run? What would define a perfect run? If it's not taking any deaths, I can do that.
What about collecting everything and destroying every enemy? How realistic is that?
I don't know. I have actually been interested in maybe attempting a run where I collect all the item boxes. The issue is I just don't know where they all are and haven't found a map with them. I have done runs of best ending, collecting all the Chaos Emeralds and defeating Robotnik, with no hits. Probably, if I really tried hard enough. So look at this platform, and look right there. If you stay on the platform, it will kill you. We do need to keep this platform nearby, because that is our access through this section to get to the boss. So this boss I actually kind of like on the Game Gear because of the screen crunch. It makes it go across a little bit faster. You do need to be careful. Not only don't get hit by the spikes on the Mecha Boar's back, don't get hit by these falling rocks. It's easier than you think to accidentally get hit by them. If you hit the boss pretty quickly when it lands, you actually will not spawn in the rocks, but it's kind of risky because then you risk accidentally hitting the spikes instead. I don't like that. Okay. 2 more hits, and then off to Scrambled Egg Zone. I hope y'all aren't too hungry. There's a lot of eggs in this game. Scrambled egg. We'll have electric eggs in the next game in Chaos.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Has the egg meal gone too far?
Ugh. All right. Scrambled Egg Zone. Great music coming up. I really like it. And to quote Argic, tubes! Lots of tubes.
We love some tubes. I mean, it's an 8-bit Sonic title. There's gotta be tubes,
right? All right. So this one is a tube maze. There's a couple portions coming up where you just need to know where to go. Also, you can, because of physics, gain speed rolling uphill, or at least hold your speed pretty quickly. It's kind of funny. I almost messed up this maze, not thinking. I was too focused on, Game Gear physics. So I'm going to do something that will probably look weird coming out of this next pipe. I'm going to hold left to go into a spike pit, and fingers crossed that platform we just passed spawns over here, and it did not. That's okay. Doing what I just did is very consistent in Master System, but for reasons unknown, inconsistent in Game Gear, where this platform will actually respawn heading left much quicker than it normally would, allowing me to save a lot of time. But the side, not too there. So we just had to wait. Do they egg electrocute you? I
should say this run has been pretty excellent so far.
Don't you start. Many paths I can use in Scrambled Egg too. I'm going to go the one I am most used to. There's some unintended things you can do, but it's very difficult. And, oh, dang it. Having not practiced it in a while, I'm not going to try it. Sonic, please. I'm trying to get a little bit of speed to make a jump up to here, skipping the bottom portion of the stage. Grabbing an extra life, I don't actually need it. Come on, land on that platform. So I kind of have to manipulate this platform a bit, because I will be landing on this shortly. I'm actually going to go around this loop. You might have seen the platform fly off to the left. Now, fingers crossed I get an input. Yes. If your input gets eaten there, you are dead and have to redo the stage. It's kind of ugly. It stinks. And with that, we just have one stage left to go in Sonic 2 before we switch over to the final game of Sonic Chaos. We have some more tubes. Our final boss here will be Silver Sonic, which in my opinion is actually a relatively simple boss, considering it's the final boss of the game. It's pretty easy to avoid dying to if you're not too risky. Well, you know what? I'm going to land real quick. because I forgot you do not want to roll jump onto that spring, whereas you do pretty much everywhere else in the game, because otherwise you will have so much speed you will overshoot that platform. All right, so basically, as long as I'm rolling the entire time, or in my ball form, whatever you'd like to call it, we'll bounce off each other, but I cannot damage him. This is one of two sources of RNG in this game, the other being the pig boss, which I did have decent RNG on earlier. And if you've come this far, if you've collected all the Chaos Emeralds to this point, Silver Sonic will drop the final Chaos Emerald, but not this time. So that is Sonic 2, and as soon as it fades out, we can switch over to the final game of Sonic Chaos, which is, in my opinion, not only the easiest game, but is most definitely the shortest game. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. We are introduced to having Tails as a playable character, but we will not be playing with Tails. We are playing with Sonic, and we have fast movement now. We have our peel out. We have a spin dash. In most cases, we would rather use a peel out, but in certain cases, a spin dash is going to be better because the peel out, if you run into an enemy, or you will take damage. One thing I need to explain here at the signpost, you are going to hear me briefly pause. I do need to time it in my head. Maybe are you aware of how those signposts work?
I believe I do, but I probably wouldn't explain them quite as well as you might, but if you give it a go.
I will give it a go in a moment then. First, I want to avoid what I just did there. Okay, well, I guess technically I avoided the invincibility, and that's really what I tried to do. In this game, don't grab invincibility. I will be grabbing one in this run because for the route I'm taking, it's unavoidable. But they add so much lag. Yes, you do get rocket shoes. So you can see when that kilometers per hour is counting down, you'll see me, I'm actually counting to roughly 4 there, and then releasing a peel out from the left side of the stage. The reason I'm doing that is once that countdown completes, Sonic will start going to the right side. And once Sonic goes off screen, that is when you can transition over to the actual score countdown screen. More on that in a moment.
Ooh.
Dang. Held left a little too early.
I tell you what, we've seen kilometers per hour at the end of some of these stages. I wonder what system they use in the Sonic universe, because we know there's a character of Tails miles per hour, but I wonder if they share all of the silly different ways of measuring things that we do.
Must be a hybrid setup. So back on the end of the stages, if you start peeling out or spin dashing, release it, and you're close to the right side of the screen when that unlocks and the game forces Sonic to the right, you go off screen quicker. Whereas if you're just standing still at the left side, you have to go all the way across the screen. That's super slow. And it's not a ton of time saved each time, but it significantly adds up in time saved. All right, let's not do what I did yesterday. Okay. So what I did yesterday in a marathon run of this is you can actually do what I say is a stair clip. If you've ever seen the speedrun of Sonic 3, it's very similar to that, where you kind of clip into the wall and you get pushed up in this case, and you either die or get forced out to the top and you don't quite know where you are. But you don't want that happening. All right. Giga 2. It's straightforward. There's nothing for me to really talk about. Hey, B, give me a little bit of breathing room. Say something for a bit.
Oh, well, in fact, actually, I'll ask you a question, because breathing room. We've seen 3 different sort of variations of Sonic. He's had different sprites, like they've been slightly adjusted between the games. Do you have a personal favorite out of the 3?
I've never really looked at them side by side to come up with that answer. I can tell you my favorite game between the 3 is Sonic 2, but that's, I think, more nostalgia than anything. Real quick regarding the stage, by the way, you have 3 tube options here. Always go in the top tube. That way the boss takes less hits. That's not something that everybody is aware of.
Oh.
But yeah, I'd say Sonic 2 I like. Oh, I almost timed that peel out pretty well. That boss is a pain to time that for. At least I was on the right side. All right, so I mentioned this is a fast game. We are a third of the way through it already. Oh, we also have Sleeping Egg. I forgot about that. I jumped a little too high there.
Sleeping Egg.
Yep,
Oh, it keeps getting
Sleeping
better.
Egg.
It keeps getting better. Eggman really is the gift that keeps on giving.
Really is. So taking our rocket shoes here to the end. So in a
We love
moment.
rocket shoes.
So you're going to see what I'm about to do hopefully 4 times in this run. So there's 2 ways of exiting stages. You can either go to the signpost. Duh. Yeah, you're kind of used to that. Or in this game, if you collect 100 rings, you are teleported to a special stage. We are going to do that to begin with, after I overshoot this little spring, in this stage, because there's a lot of rings on this path. You see, we're 32, we're already at 63, and here's some more ring boxes. We get instantly teleported to a special stage. I'm just going to hold right to fail it instantly. I'm not going to take those rocket shoes all the way across to get the Chaos Emerald. And the stage is done. You don't even have a countdown to do here. And it is much faster to do that in many of the stages. And for a moment, because I don't have my splits open, I completely forgot what stage was coming up. That could have ended badly. So, this game was also released on the Master System. What I say about the bosses is the first 3 bosses in this game are much easier on the Game Gear than they are on the Master System. For this boss, I'm just bouncing on top of him. The one thing you really couldn't tell, though, is after going on top of the boss, I had to briefly tap left to be on its left side, or else it will kill you up there off screen. But from now to the end of the game, in my opinion, the bosses are much more difficult, as you will see. We're halfway through Chaos. We're almost done with this trilogy run.
It's been going pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's like we're trying to go fast or something.
Crazy.
This stage is almost entirely hold right to win. As you can see, we took the rocket shoes to the end and done in 12 seconds. My peel-outs have been pretty good, at least.
Do you know what the sort of window is for pulling off those peel outs? Because I think I've seen other people try to pull them off and it's pretty tight.
Oh, so like just for charging the peel out in general?
Well, making sure that you sort of avoid the slow walk off
I get
screen.
it.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I've never calculated it, to be honest. Like,
fair
and
enough.
the worst part is I don't even have like a visual cue or an audio cue I'm using. I'm just winging it. And fortunately, it works pretty well.
I was about to say, muscle memory, I imagine having done it quite a lot of times, you're like, yeah, this is when I do it.
So much I could talk about. So this stage is a pain. There's 2 stages with pretty decent layout differences between the 2 versions. This is one of them. I have to take the bottom route. And this is going to be very dangerous what I'm doing, but I discovered this a couple months ago. And good. So something I need to explain is those Lego-looking things as I fight this horrible boss. If you are on it and do not have enough horizontal momentum, you will fall straight through it. And you'll probably just die. Alright, so I do have to take this boss a bit safely. Pardon the dogs in the background. That boss is a lot easier in the Master System version because you can just stay on it and bounce. Can't do that in this one for whatever reason. But we got through it. I'm happy I haven't died in that stage. Aqua Planet, guess what this is?
We could never guess. Who would
Water
have thought?
levels,
A
yay!
water level.
Meaning it's a lag fest, yay!
Oh, but it is pretty though. It does look nice.
I was supposed to jump. I hope I have speed for that, and I did. Okay. So you might notice I'm collecting a lot of rings. Guess why that is? A special
stage time. Let's go.
And we will be doing that in Aqua Planet 2, and thank goodness we are, because they are so laggy, it's horrible trying to get to the end without doing the special stage exits. So we're going to do that here in Aqua Planet 2 as well, assuming I don't mess it up. There's just so many rings. I'm really glad they did that for these stages. Peel out. One thing I haven't mentioned, so to do a peel out, it's hold up and just tap 1 or 2. You don't need to hold it at all and then let go. Do a spin dash, it's the same thing but hold down. You don't have to rev it like you do in the, on the Sega Genesis. It's only 1 rev essentially. and Aqua Planet 3. So this stage also has a layout difference between the two versions. So I am intentionally grabbing that invincibility because for once I want rings on the boss stage. You are going to see why shortly. This is a multi-phase boss. First we have these mini bosses to do. I have to take care of 6 sets here. And now, fingers crossed, this boss does exactly what I want. I am going to damage boost. I want to get stuck between the boss and the side. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. It looks like we're not getting that this time. Never lucky. But it's really easy to do that in Master System version, so you actually lose some time in this one. But that is the reason I grabbed the rings. Normally, otherwise, I would not need the rings. It's out of the way. But it is enough of a time save, even without getting stuck between the wall. And with that, we have 3 more stages to go. That's it. We're almost done. And it is time for some more eggs. Electric egg! Where we're going to collect more rings! And go to yet one more final special stage, because we do have a lot of rings available to us. Doing that in this stage actually doesn't save much in the way of time, but it is still faster. Just ever so slightly. Because of all these rings.
I wonder if I went to
I need
like a
hold
restaurant or a
direction.
cafe or something and said, get me an electric egg. I wonder what they'd do.
Probably question you or kick you out. One of the two.
Yeah, probably give me a very sharp look and be like, excuse me.
Alright, so I dodged that tube right there. Because of course, we have to have tubes. That's how this goes. Y'all know this by now.
The truth of the tubes.
And we're pretty much done this stage, which will bring us to the final stage and the final boss. Hey, Hibby, you want to guess who the final boss is?
Surely nothing to do with eggs.
Probably, yeah, sounds right. Alright, so this boss is kind of tricky. I won't have rings, and for the final hit, the amount of rings I have won't even matter, because if you get hit, you will die anyway. So, first, the music changes. You might recognize this from Scrambled Egg. Why it's different in this stage, I don't know. Now, I'm going to hold left coming out of this pipe and very quickly switch to right to make it in that gap that you normally otherwise could not do. With this boss, let me focus. I need to stay on the left side of the boss. Need. Because you see how it's firing horizontal projectiles? If you are not on the left side, those projectiles will come out at an angle and bounce over the room and will kill you. This is phase 1 done. I have one final hit here. One last hit in the run. Then I need the time. And we got it. So time is coming up in just a moment. As soon as he lands on this teleporter, that is time.
GG's.
That was a pretty good run. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it looked very solid on our side and certainly underestimate.
Yeah. So even if you have rings, if you don't hit Eggman just right there, you're dead. So the rings aren't too super useful there. And with
Nice,
that,
on our end, that looked like a 52-28.
Okay. A little off PB, but not terribly far off. Those deaths in Sonic 1 really got me. That is the trilogy, or what we call the trilogy. As mentioned, there's so many games we could have included in it. But those are the first. Gosh, I am thirsty. Those are the first 3 Sonic games released on the Game Gear. Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic Chaos. I do hope people enjoyed. If you did enjoy that, or ever just wanted to beat the games casually, because you never could, because, Game Gear, we do have guides available for the games. I believe they're posted under the SMS versions of them, but they're similar enough you can kind of take those and just slightly adapt them for the Game Gear version. But that's it for me. Hibby, thank you so much for having me on this show. I greatly appreciate it, and I'm happy people seem to enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you so much for showing this off. If people want to find you and all of the strange things and strange games that you play, I'm probably not giving you the best advertisement, but now's your time to advertise yourself instead.
I play bad games. I don't stream much, but when I do, it's at the name that's probably displayed right there or somewhere else on the layout. Just twitch.tv/FinalFlame. Mostly classic Sonics, but lately I've been trying to broaden my horizons into other games, both good and bad.
Nice. I think it's healthy to have some good and bad games. And yeah, brilliant. I'm gonna sort of tag on the end of this as well, saying I've played a couple of the 8-bit games, and honestly, the Sonic 8-bit games are good fun to speedrun. I know one of the ones that I picked definitely goes under the bad sort of umbrella, but they're good fun, and they're quite straightforward to get into. Hard to master, but easy to get into, I feel.
Yeah, they're fun. I like them.
Yeah, I think fun's a good way to go about it. Okay, well, everybody, that was the full trilogy of the Game Gear games for Sonic the Hedgehog. We are going to be moving over to another series. Well, this is a licensed game. This is Garfield. We're gonna get some Garfield up in here, so don't go anywhere. We will be back very, very shortly with some Garf. And yeah, well, it's not a Monday, so hopefully Jangle Storm and Garfield will be in good spirits. So stick around. We will be back very, very shortly. Okay, from one colourful character to another, we are bouncing from Sonic over to Garfield on the Game Gear. Everybody, just a reminder, this is Going Places. This is the hotfix show that takes us around the speed space. We've got, well, sometimes we have some region exclusive games on the show, and sometimes we have the handhelds. And this is a special Game Gear special, a Game Gear Gaggle, we've liked to describe it as. And well, hey, I'm just going to say it's a good thing that we're catching these two on a Saturday and not a Monday, because Jangle Storm is going to be taking us through Garfield Caught in the Act. Hello, Jangle.
Hey there, Hypnotics. Good to see you. And yeah, hi.
Good to see you.
Hi everybody. Nice to see you all. My name is indeed Jangle Storm, and happy to show this game off for you all. I started off running the Genesis version of this game, and yeah, this is the Game Gear version. It's actually somewhat different. It's actually developed by a different team than the Genesis version. This is developed by Novo Trade International, who also made Echo the Dolphin. So they at least have a certain reputation. And yeah, this game, Garfield is certainly going places. So to tie it in with the theme of this show. Yeah, nice. I literally came up with that like a minute ago or so, but
I appreciate it. That's something that Flame said earlier as well. I like what you did.
There you go. But yeah, so it's gonna be a nice little adventure. But we'll talk about it in the intro. So let's first start the game. Time starts as soon as I select start game in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh wait, never mind. Sorry, demos. Okay.
The demo.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. And there we go.
Nice, good luck.
All right, so we're caught in the act. How so? Well, we got stuck in the TV set because we got zapped in there by this creature called Glitch. And now we have to get out and we have to play through all these movie-themed levels, which you see here. And starts off with, in this case, a level called Cave Cat, which is sort of inspired by the era of the caveman. And I'm not sure if it's really noticeable in the Game Gear, but Garfield has these large teeth. And yeah, this is a Garfield platforming game where, you jump around. Garfield gets quite a workout here, more so than usual. Does jump around a lot too. And also unique to the Game Gear version, he actually is able to run, which is actually useful at certain points, but you'll see that soon enough. So we have a couple of attacks as well. We can attack from nearby, and we also have these items that we can throw with. In this case, we have these tiny bullets, I guess? I don't know, but we'll be using those as well, kind of depending on where we are. So first off, we have to go down here, and we have to rescue Arlene, who for some reason was tied against a tree, and we have to save her. Okay, also, yeah, we have to do this before we head to the next part. There's gonna be more of that later, actually. So there we go, love climbing. Here's a fun thing. You saw the bird. I actually jumped towards the bird and it briefly disappears, which allows me to climb the court for a little bit, which is, I don't know what it happens, but it's pretty helpful. So you're gonna make this tiny jump here. Oh, I just missed it, damn. I would have preferred to have landed on this bone platform, this horizontal bone platform, because I can then make another jump towards the other side. I just missed out, so that's unfortunate, but...
At least you had something to save your fall in the end. I thought that you were just going to fall straight through and it's like,
yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. It's I mean, this is the Game Gear. You don't see all that much, really. The view is somewhat limited, so everything is kind of like... It almost feels like guesswork, except... at least in some cases, I have a bit of an idea of what I'm doing, I hope. But yeah, so... what you just saw there, by the way, so there was this Arlene head. If I pick this up, I will go to a bonus stage, which for the speedrun is not very handy, so we're not going to pick those up. So we're just going to run past that, make some more jumps and such. Yeah, Garfield and running, yeah. I mean, I was actually surprised when I first discovered this game after having run the Genesis version for a while, and then realizing, oh wait, Garfield can run. It was quite a discovery. So I was sort of expecting like more or less a copy of that version, but turns out there were some differences there. Also, don't worry about...
It's interesting. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that jump, by the way, that was totally intended, by the way. I actually dropped myself there, so I would land on that flying fish. So, bit of a placement there. But you were saying?
Well, I think the sharp-eyed amongst us will have seen that you've been collecting some very tasty-looking 8-bit lasagna.
Well,
how many do you collect in a run? I know that we've seen quite a few already, and there are a few that you've skipped by. But...
Well, actually, what you collect in this game isn't, in fact, lasagna. That's the one item in this game that you don't have here. That seems really weird for a Garfield game. You do collect.
I've been living alone.
Yeah, you do collect burgers and pizzas, but for some reason, lasagna is nowhere to be seen. So usually, when I do this run, I tell people bring lasagna because there's none in this game.
Because you don't have it. Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird. But none of the versions have that. Neither the Genesis or the PC version or this Game Gear version have it. It's kind of weird. See, there's a big pizza at least.
Do this to us. I mean, it's the second best, but it's just not the same, man.
It's not exactly the same. Nah, I mean, when it comes to Garfield, you would expect something of lasagna, right? So there's that. Okay, so here's the first boss. We fight Dino Odie. Even though the games are developed by different teams, they have similar concepts in what they try to do with the levels, and that also go for the bosses here. So we fight Dino Odie, who we have to hit with these rocks. So we launch him with this seesaw, and we have to do this a couple of times to bring him down to the bottom, and then we have to finish up the fight, really. If you get like the first hit, if you don't miss out, you can actually set up for a nice little cycle, which allows for Dino Odie to go towards you to the right side, where I need to go for the finish. So that's pretty nice if I get that. All right.
Someone in the chat was wondering, this isn't any % run, but difficulty-wise, are there different difficulties, and which one are you running at the moment, if there are?
This version doesn't really have difficulty differences. So I'm just playing on the normal difficulty. In the other versions, though, that you do have various difficulties, although even those aren't as significantly different. So we usually go by default difficulty regardless, really.
Oh, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, here. This is a level called the Curse of Cleopatra. This is a pyramid-themed level. Other levels are, pretty much sort of movie-themed in a sense. So this is the pyramid-themed level here, with lots of spooters apparently. Who doesn't love spiders? Okay, and also mummies. I'm trying to hit that one so I can run past them quicker. Just like that. Oh, there's another one over there. Oops. So yeah, even over here, I try to do these like running jumps, which are somewhat quick. So I try to do them from smaller platforms like this, and that can be somewhat finicky to set up sometimes. There's a movement jank with the game that you get sometimes when you try to do certain things, and sometimes your inputs get eaten somewhat. So that can be a thing. Also, this part is interesting in the sense that it seems like you have to time this really tightly. So what you have to do here is you have to make a big enough jump that you can get over that ramp there, because otherwise you slide back down there where I am right now. And you also have this thing right above you that can also hit you. So you have to kind of balance it out. If it goes well, you can do this real quick, but there are moments where it's slightly tougher. But there we go. See? There's a couple of things like that throughout the game that can be kind of finicky. But there we go. Now we're going to do some, some spike boosting, I guess. There we go. Another pizza.
Yes, whilst we're going through this level and we're on the topic of pizzas, what is your favorite type of pizza?
That's a very good question actually. I don't have a very strong preference for one or the other, although I do usually like something with like pepperoni or something. That's usually a favorite of mine, or salami, or that usually I'm usually down for that.
Nice, yeah.
What about yours?
I certainly vouch for a good pepperoni. I like a meat feast, maybe something with a little bit of spice here and there.
Some spice.
I'm definitely not an advocate for for a certain fruit that should never be anywhere near pizzas. I don't really want to utter the name of it, but I'm sure anybody with enough imagination will know of the forbidden fruit that should not be put on pizzas at all.
Oh yeah, I know which one. Oh yeah, that's if you name the fruit, it's gonna definitely be some sort of well, it's gonna be up for debate. Let's say that.
True.
In the meantime, here's the boss fight. We just have to climb these statues, and we have to lit these flames. This is a boss fight. It's actually way simpler than in the other versions of the game, because you can just stand on the ground really and just hit the boss over and over again. So it's just pretty simple. I just have to do this a couple of times. I don't even have to jump. I can just do that. Okay, speaking of jumps, this can be a pretty tight one because in this version specifically, you have to jump over these electricity fields, and some of these jumps are really precise, as you can see. So I have to really jump from a certain pixel, which can take a few tries, and imagining if you play this casually, it definitely takes a little bit to get used to that. But it's definitely some timing thing. Okay, now for a level that's actually exclusive to the Game Gear version, namely Bonehead the Barbarian. This is a Viking-themed level. It's very snowy, and we have to push these totems towards the wall. And here's the speed strat. So the game expects you to make this sort of stare out of these things, and you can actually just push a pair of them like towards the wall and just kind of jump on them repeatedly. So you see this tiny gap there in between. You can use that to briefly hold right and jump. You could just jump as often as you want really until you're up there. So it's a nice little speed strat that I actually ran into when I was first playing this casually. We're gonna do this a couple of times in this level too. It's gonna be quite a few varying setups. There's also the possibility that you might screw up one of these solutions, but you could also reset it by hitting that kind of circle-like orb thingy over there that's kind of blinking. So that way you don't actually softlock the game, which is what I initially thought when I first played it. And then it turns out you can hit that and just reset that puzzle specifically. Okay, that was a regrab. This part can be weird. So sometimes you try to grab this thing and you constantly wind up re-grabbing it because the physics of this game are kind of weird like that, apparently. There we go. Almost the end of the first part. Mini boss fight, I guess. Usually very brief. So this is the part where we basically wind up doing the same thing, except it's a series of puzzles pretty much. And again, there's going to be some cheese threats. The first two are going to be done pretty much as the game expects you to do them. So I'm just going to push this towards the wall and go from here. The second one, oh wait, I need to jump up here. Because I need to sometimes go up here and push these down. Just like that. There we go. Again, Garfield getting quite the workout here.
I was about to ask, because we've seen Garfield going particularly fast. Is that something that he just naturally sort of goes into the swing of, or are you double tapping to make sure that he gets that speed?
I'm double tapping in this case.
Okay.
So it's that's a thing that you see common in certain games, that you double tap to dash. In this case, you have to do that in a certain rhythm. It doesn't always work as it should, but it does work. It does work.
Sounds like the Game Gear. It doesn't always work how it should.
I've seen that with other various handhelds as well, where you have to double tap. It can be finicky sometimes, but it gets the job done as soon as you get the hang of it, really. Yeah, so... All right, so you've seen a couple of... so there was the one gap that I sort of avoided. I didn't push the totem in there like directly. I just put it in front of him and just jumped over it. So that was another cheese thread of its own there, as you just saw. And this is the final bit of well, tower jumping, whatever you want to call it. So this is the boss fight. I just stand in one position and just fire over and over again, really. So it's pretty simple in that sense. Although you do tend to take quite a bit of damage, but there we go. So in between levels, you find yourself sort of inside the TV, really, with all these cables and everything. It's a pretty much linear overworld, so there's nothing really interesting to be said about it, but it's a pretty neat way of presenting it, at least. But you just go from one level to another. So this is Count Slobula. This is normally a level... Well, it has a bit of a similar theme, I guess, except you don't really have the owls. In this case, we have to hit these owls and then make a hole in the ground where we can find a door and then go through. That's a cool thing sometimes with these enemies, is that you can hit them once and then basically hit them in a certain rhythm, so you don't have to worry about finding their iframes or whatnot, so it's relatively easy to take them out quickly. Which is good for the speedrun, of course. So, now we fight this skeleton here, who's throwing out around its head like a boomerang. We have to hit him 5 times before we can move on. We can already run past him, but the exit battery in this case won't appear until after you defeat the skeleton. So now we're actually inside the castle, and it's a bit of a maze. You have to kind of walk around and go through doors. And at some point you'll find yourself in a couple of locked rooms where you have to find a key to get out. And you have to find 3 of them in total to get to the boss. So that's what we're gonna do. And we actually know where to go, so it's not as maze-like, but... You know, it's still a nice little trip through the castle. There we go.
Interesting, we were talking, well, when you were mentioning the hub world earlier, somebody in the chat was drawing parallels with everybody's favorite green lizard Gex, and how he's getting TV remotes and he's sort of going through TVs to do so, but we're already in the TV.
Yeah.
I wonder if any of the people who worked on this game were just like, hey, they copied our idea.
Might be. I mean, Gex was from roughly the same year or thereabouts, isn't it? Like, I think...
I believe so.
95, 96? I actually forgot, but...
Let's do some fact checking.
Okay, this is the final door. Also, keep in mind that some of these chair hitboxes are pretty small, so that's very important to know for the boss fight, because we'll be trying out some things that might not directly work, so we'll see how it goes. Let's see, there we go. Spooters.
Yeah, Gex also came out in 95, but earlier on in the year. Well, I don't know when Garfield came out in the year.
It was late 95, pretty much.
Oh, okay. Maybe they were picking
It might be.
ideas from each other.
So now we fight Conslobula, and we have to basically stand on these chairs and jump towards those blinds and open them. And we have to do that for every single one of them to gradually let more light in, which is pretty tough because, like I said, the chair hitboxes are really small, and Conslobula appears really, really quickly. So I have to make sure that I do it quickly enough. And if you can sort of maintain that rhythm, it does make it easier to do this boss fight quickly. Okay, something different now. Revenge of Orangebeard. This is a pirate themed level, actually. As you can tell from the boat, perhaps. And yeah, so we try to kind of jump from platform to platform, both from boat to boat and whatnot. Garfield cannot swim in this game. Well, I guess he technically cannot swim in the other versions of this game either. But they kind of work differently in that he can sort of go. It can go through the water, but he takes damage. In this case, he gets sent back to a checkpoint. So we try not to fall in if we're too far away from a checkpoint, because that will be quite a bit of time loss. But there we go. That was the first part.
Nicely done.
Thank you. So now we get the jungle, which is well, even more jank, I think. It's mostly because you have these chickens. These chickens can be quite a thing. They can be in your way. And the thing is, with anything that hits you, if you try to like climb a vine or something, or if you sort of fall down in order to grab a vine, you get hit by something along the way, you won't be able to grab the thing in question. So it's a weird physics thing that they have there. I'm not sure what it is, but so yeah, I just try to avoid everything as much as possible there. See, lots of jumping from high places right here, just like that. And oh yeah, I have to watch out for that one too. I'm actually surrounded here. There we go. Just gonna grab that for safety. Bit of a health refill. I actually don't need to do that, but over here. Okay. So yeah, this is the next boss fight. It really looks like the skeleton from the previous level, except it's now kind of dressed up as a boss fight. You see that pile of bones gradually disappear as I deal a hit, so you have a bit of an idea when the fight is over. So there's one more hit. It's pretty much the same thing, really, just with that.
I was about to say, it's a shame he's not any faster. he was pretty slow first time,
yeah.
And he looks just as slow now.
Yeah, you have to wait there. Okay, so there's even more electricity jumping, which is always a very good time. Just gotta make sure that I need to do that a little bit sooner. It seems like I'm doing the same thing over and over again, and you're sort of right, but also, yeah, this. Oh wait, I'm not supposed to go there. What was I thinking? I need to go up there. Oh well, it happens. Let's see. Go here. Oh, actually, I can get up there sometimes without having to grab the ledge, which is kind of cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So now we're in another level that's actually exclusive to the Game Gear. This is a Robin Hood themed level called Slobin Hood. So we're in the forest here. Got all kinds of, well, very Robin Hood-esque things you would expect. And also a couple of birds' nests that you can sort of stand on, or it's just branches. See, over here. It's a pretty short level, actually.
I've got to say,
but
I've got to say that in this show we've had some incredible level names. We had like the egg stuff going on earlier.
Yeah.
We had egg crystal, electric egg, and now Slobbin Hood.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a name for sure. I mean, you have Count Slobula as well, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like a continuation of that. Well, the pun, I guess.
I love it.
Yeah. So this part of the level is pretty simple. You drop down this tent, and you have to go through a door. You have to do that a couple of times because why not? They kind of like to repeat certain concepts just for a little bit. Okay, and this level ends with us having to close a couple of gaps here where they fire arrows from. You can do most of them from this position right here. If you jump in certain heights, just like that, and then drop down here. Oh, missed that. Okay. But that's the end of the level. Like I said, it's a relatively brief level, but it's a nice little breather, before what's going to come up next, because this is definitely one of the tougher parts of the game. This is Casablanca, and it starts off with this card jumping section, which can be really tough, and also a potential run killer if you're trying to go for a certain pace here. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So, also keeping in mind that sometimes I try to jump and it kind of drops my inputs here and there. That's one thing, but you also have the fact that you have these guys throwing flower pots at you for some reason, and you also have these lampposts. And that's actually a thing that you might not directly notice, so I'm pointing it out, but those actually slow you down if you try to make a certain running jump and you kind of run into them. They kind of slow down your momentum, which is something I didn't understand for the longest time, really, but it wasn't until later on that I realized, oh, wait, that's what's happening. Also, I just missed the exit there. I ran past it. Let's see, there we go. And, okay. Do a lot of grabs here, actually. I was actually there. Huh, too bad. At least the music is pretty good. So, see, like that. Sometimes I just wait for those lampposts to go past, and then I just carry on, really. There we go. That took a little bit longer.
Nicely done.
that took a little bit longer, but I wasn't expecting to just fly past that battery there. So I was like, wait a second. All right, so time for a little breather once again. We're going to do this race against this mouse who is celebrating his birthday. So chat, wish this mouse a happy birthday, if you like.
Yeah, happy birthday, mouse.
Yay.
Let's go.
It just says, we basically have to drop down this gap as soon as possible, really, because this is where we have to go next. Let's see, and this is actually the part that you might remember if you have played the Genesis version, because they were actually going to do this card jump section, but there were a couple of things, a couple of ideas that they weren't able to do due to time restraints, and so they had to cut those ideas from that version. But you have at least a bit of an idea from playing this game what they would have done otherwise. By the way, for some reason we had to rescue Odie there. I'm not sure why. I think that dog was holding Odie captive, so we had to defeat that dog and then rescue Odie. Okay, so this is the final level. This is Television Wasteland. This is where it's kind of like a best of, you can say. You see all these TVs you have to destroy, and they're surrounded by these enemies that you have encountered in previous stages. So it's a little bit of a callback to everything up until this point. So this is from Bonehead the Barbarian. Yeah, it's from Bonehead the Barbarian and a couple of other things. Someone was mentioning the Sega channel. Yeah, they were. There were certain levels that made it in here that didn't make it in the Genesis version, and they formed the lost levels, which were available to subscribers to the Sega channel back then. So for the longest time, only people who had the Sega who had access to that were able to play those levels. Really, I still want to play those at some point if they ever become available somehow.
I love that sort of trivia.
Yeah, it's always a fun thing. It's one of those things that I'm still so curious about, really.
Yeah, the fact that even after, well, I'm not going to do all the maths, but like almost 30 years after this is released, that there's still more to know and still more to find out. And yeah. Gaming's fun that way.
Hopefully one day. Let's see. For this, I kind of need. There we go. I need one of those enemies to spawn. So sometimes it takes a while, but there you go. Okay, making this jump here. Kind of looks like Sonic for some reason. I don't know why. But the character kind of looked like Sonic.
Yeah, Please, spiky fella, close
Yeah,
enough.
it's close enough. It's close enough. So this is the finale. We have to flip these panels. And this is the creature that sent us into the TV in the first place. This is a creature called Glitch, consisting of television spare parts, basically. So I'm not sure if you can really directly see it, but it looks rather different usually than a lot of the other enemies in the game. It's more like a vector-based enemy. Not sure if it's really visible here. Oh, timing's coming up, by the way. This is the final hit here, so that was time.
GG.
Thank you. Yeah, that was pretty. I was talking to somebody. Realized. Oh wait, this is actually a pretty short fight. But yeah, this fight is way shorter than in the other versions of the game. So, but then again, it was developed by a different team. So like they had those similar concepts, but they worked about in considerably different ways. So that was always a nice surprise to see. Having been familiar with the Genesis version and trying this out, I suddenly realized, hey, wait a second, this is actually really different. So
Nice. And then you get that little comic at the end, which I'm afraid I don't make the rules, but it looks like you have to play the game again.
Well, basically, Garfield had a lot of fun. At least that's what he says. So it was like a little adventure, just jumping and running around and, kind of going places. Excuse the pun.
You said it again.
Yeah. Yeah. And then with the words "nice touch," but
Yeah.
But there you go. That's this game. Yeah, I was very glad to be able to show this off, and I have shown the Genesis version quite a few times at the marathons, and I think this is relatively unknown comparatively speaking, but it's definitely worth seeking out. I feel it's definitely a nice little addition to the other versions of the game. So yeah, if you would like to try out some Game Gear stuff, I can definitely recommend checking this out, and also play the other versions of the game really, just to see how they compare.
Awesome. And if people want to find you and more of the stuff that you do, whereabouts can they find you?
Well, you can find me frequently streaming on twitch.tv/Janglestorm. I speedrun quite a variety of games, and I might actually be going back to the Genesis Garfield real soon again, or something very soon. But yeah, besides that, I run various other games, so you never know what to expect really. But yeah, pretty much love stuff that I like to do. So yeah, if you like speedrun variety and some casual stuff on the side as well, go and follow my channel. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, also shout outs to the other Garfield runners. If you're interested, be sure to hit any of us up. There is also a link to the Discord on speedrun.com as well, so feel free to check that out as well. And I don't think I have anything else, so...
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for that run. I think a lot of people... Well, I think the chat enjoyed it. I think there was good reception to that. But, everybody, our Game Gear Gaggle of games... Oh, that's a mouthful. We are coming to the end of it, but we have got one last game to show off, a finale. We are going to be having a race of Tempo Junior. That is going to be Gruntmeister versus Jimmy Diamonds. It's going to be hype, even if you don't know what this game is about. We've got a good pair of people who are gonna show you what it's about. So do stick around. We will be back very, very shortly after this quick break. Make sure you take a stretch. Make sure you hydrate, and we will see you on the flip side. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Going Places. We have had a collection. I need to think of more words, but we've had a gaggle of Game Gear speedruns. We started off with Aleste 1 and 2. We moved over to the Sonic 8-bit trilogy on the Game Gear. We just had some Garfield, and now we are finishing off with some Tempo Junior, which I don't know about this game you're about to, because there's some funky things going on. If you missed any of the earlier runs and you're watching this on Twitch, then you should have a look on YouTube, because as well as highlights going up on the Games Done Quick highlights channel, we will also be having these full VODs going up on the main channel. So definitely worth checking out if you missed the other runs, because I mean, I recommend watching them because I watch them, and certainly worth your time. Speaking of being worth your time, these fellas are worth our time. Jimmy and Gruntmeister, show us what's Tempo about.
Oh, thank you, Hibby. I appreciate you saying that we are worth your time, and you are worth our time, just like everyone in chat. Grump, how are you feeling today?
I'm all good. My thumb is ready for this game.
Yeah.
I hope yours is as well.
Nope, no, not at all. This game is built to destroy thumbs. It doesn't matter which thumb. It could be your thumb, it could be other people's thumbs, it could be both of them, it could be all three. Yeah.
It could be the dogs. I mean,
dogs don't have opposable thumbs, though. How could they even play this game?
They do have thumbs, though.
But not opposable ones.
okay.
They can't
here
grip
I have difficulty.
anything. Except for their teeth. But they can grip things. Whatever. I don't know what we're talking about. This is Tempo Junior. It's a Game Gear game. It's a platformer. Its frames are in the negative. You play a grasshopper that can throw out little musical notes, and you can jump on things' heads and roll into people as well. We are going to be having a lovely race. This is one of the first Game Gear speedruns I have properly picked up. Gruntmeister, however, is a much more experienced Game Gear speedrunner. So how are you going to approach this race using your existing experience, Grump?
How am I going to... Well, not by having my dog attack me right now, but I'm glad it happened now and not during the race. So
This is all part of Jimmy's plan.
Yeah, that's how I'm going to approach it. Like,
Nice.
have my dog approach me now instead of,
That better make the highlights.
Now,
that really better make the highlights.
Other than that...
That dog is a paid actor. Jimmy has traded a couple of treats before
that's why he took so long on the bone. Like when it comes to racing, it's always just fun to show off the game, and I'm not too worried about who's in the lead or who isn't. It will be pretty similar to the Coca-Cola Kid race that I've done before on GDQ with Sharif. It's just fun to show this off.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's going to be...
Coca-Cola Kid, by the way, is one of your golden games, Hibby.
Oh, yes.
I have it here.
Yeah.
See?
Gonna have to call you up on that one.
Yeah, this is going to be a big old bunch of fun. And of course, this game has recently had a relatively big skip discovered, which saves around 16 seconds. And given that we have got ourselves an estimate of around 18-20 minutes, you know, it's a big chunk of time. It's It's very, very early on the game. And if we miss it, then that's quite embarrassing, isn't it, Grump?
It would definitely be embarrassing, and you'll have to go quite a bit around the stage to recover that. So yeah, let's hope we both won't miss it.
Yeah, famous last words, maybe.
I know. That's why I'm saying it.
Awesome. I don't know about you, Grump, but I am ready whenever Hib is ready, whenever everyone else is ready to watch us being ready.
I'm done being ready.
Ooh, fighting talk. Do you want me to count you guys in?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Alrighty, you are gonna tempo in 3, 2, 1.
Go!
Good luck.
Here we go.
I'm glad that you didn't think that was a full start and that you both started, because that would have been embarrassing.
So as we can see, Tempo really doesn't like frames. They hardly exist. So it's going to be a lot of slowdown, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Luckily, I'm used to it, given my background of CDI and Tasmania, which you may have caught on GDQ as well. If you did, I'm sorry.
Our condolences. As you can see, for these two runners, their main sort of moveset is to sort of jump and hover. They're also double tapping, like we saw earlier on in Garfield, to get a sprint on. And they are aiming to get to a part of the level that will send them through into the next performance. I believe they're called performances.
You are right.
I know that that's something that they are in the 32X version, because that's where my sort of area expertise are in, and a lot of parallels between the two. But I think that the 8-bit has quite a lot of merit on its own, and I think it's a worthy sort of second.
Okay, I just got the bug jump.
Me too. That is
Excellent.
double bug boost. That is a brand new strat that was discovered by me very recently. As I said, that saves around 16 seconds, and that is a lovely little skip. And that's been recently used in the world record.
Sadly, Jimmy didn't want to use the diamond jump.
Yeah, that does sound very, very bad.
I would have loved it, but that's fine. We'll go for bug boost.
Oh, that's clever.
Alrighty, these two are going to try and get this boss in a particular pattern where it will just try and hit from the side, and they can just stay out of range of his rhythm stick. Because hey, there's a lot of music things going on in this game.
Well, the game's called Tempo.
I do not. Oh, there you go.
There it goes down. Fantastic.
I envy these two because this boss is horrible, absolutely disgusting on 32X. So,
I did not get it correctly.
Yeah.
It just kept moving.
Yeah. And annoyingly, you may even have to fight it later. Spoilers!
Yeah.
And I believe the whole premise of like what you're going through with these stages is that you're saving Katie.
Katie, yes.
It's called.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, after each performance, he seems to get kidnapped again, so...
No way. A female protagonist getting kidnapped several times. Who would have thought a video game trope of the classics?
At least we don't have to deal with a mushroom telling us to find her somewhere else, so...
Go to a different castle, indeed.
Messing up the
And
jump.
of course, as you'd expect for a game named Tempo, it's got good music. I don't think the same can be said for some of the other versions of the game, but I say other versions because as well as the 32X version, there was a sequel
Died?
to the 32X one. Oh no!
Oh no, did I die?
Oh.
That's annoying.
So there was also another one that came out on the Saturn called Super Tempo, which is not quite as fast as these two games, but it has incredible style. And I think it's fair to say that all of them have incredible style. They're really neat looking games, and a lot of care has gone into the animations.
Yeah,
Super
you
Tempo
can
is
notice it
weird.
during this game as well, like the smear frames that Tempo has. Like, you won't really see it during the speedrun, obviously, but it looks gorgeous. So one other thing to note that passed through a bit, obviously we're aiming to go for the exit, but to get to the exit we actually have to find the keynote,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
a little
the golden note in the stage. That unlocks the exit and then we can actually leave.
It's a surprisingly technical game.
It really is, yeah. And one more thing that you may have noticed on the screens, like sometimes the screen grows dark. There's wilted flowers around stage, which act as checkpoint. You can bring them back to life by flicking your note at them, which we'll do later on, maybe, possibly. And that, while it's wilted, your movement speed and your flutter speed, everything is slowed down. So you have to really be careful with what kind of movement you're doing.
Already Grump is on to his first boss. This is the frog.
Second boss.
Grump was also doing a run of this
boss.
earlier on today. And autopiloted. Yeah, Grump has already done a run of this today, so dare I say, a little bit of an advantage
True
there.
story.
But
My thumb is hurting already, so I think it's a disadvantage at this point.
But he's dispatched that boss quite well, so it'd be interesting to see return serve, what happens on Jimmy's side.
Yeah, frog boss can be a pain in the bum sometimes.
The pattern is really, it depends. Like, if he keeps jumping at you.
And then one move that is in this game that I don't have the honor of having on the 32X is this roll that Grumpmeister just did there. How are you doing that on the gamepad? I assume you're just sort of rolling as if you were, for example, playing a Sonic game or something like that.
No, it's you're dashing, so you're doing the double tap to dash, and after that you're jumping while dashing, basically, and then you roll. This also acts a bit like Coyote time, so you can roll off the edge of a platform and still retain some distance, basically,
Oh, I got caught by the frog.
it's really useful.
Again? Dude, what's your problem?
You're just a bit too tasty at the moment, Jimmy.
Yeah, that can be a really bad pattern to get into with the frog balls. If he keeps chomping at you, it's horrible.
It's annoying as heck. I think it just found something a bit more consistent to do it with, actually. On the fly strat learning.
Let's go.
You love to see it.
And the head of the frog goes off and we do a little dance. Fantastic. Oh, yeah, good gravy. It looks like my delightful Grumpmeister has got himself a bit of an unassailable lead right now.
Yeah, I'm currently closing in on the end of stage 2 of Winter Wonderland.
Good gravy.
But stages go quick, and things can still go horribly, horribly wrong. There's still one skip that we both have to get.
And apparently I just died again. That's funny.
There's Grump cleansing that flower, which means that he doesn't have to deal with the slowdown with with his glides and his walking.
Because we flutter a lot in that particular section, you don't want to slow down. Because, I mean, slow.
And another boss. We like animals. Well, actually, no, Tempo doesn't like animals. He really likes to just
He'll kick them.
pick a fight.
Yeah, he's particularly not a fan of penguins, it seems.
Or frogs.
Or frogs, yeah.
So if Tempo was ever donating for an incentive of save the animals or kill the animals, I think we know which side he would be on.
Indeed.
Given that you just mentioned that as I kick off the head of a penguin, yeah.
Wow, ruthless.
Really struggling with my double taps today, annoyingly.
Sometimes they just don't want to. They just don't. I feel that.
There we go.
Nice Grumps making a tight jump over there. Didn't need to damage boost at all. That was nicely done.
Ah, no.
Trying to collect a disc up there. Nicely done.
There's a wilted
try
flower
and
there,
avoid-
so I wanted to not flutter too long.
Good advice for life.
Yeah.
And interesting, when I first had a look at this game in the stage that Grump's in, it took me a while to realise that those sort of spinning discs in the background weren't collectibles. When I first saw them, I thought, "Ooh, that looks good fun. I want to collect them all." But
You're not the first person to say that.
that is.
And you won't be the
Given
last.
that a gold coin normally gives you a credit at the bonus stage, I'm glad that these are not
Yeah.
collectibles.
Nice, followed it to the exit, and he's done with that stage. Jimmy is still making his way through winter performance, isn't it?
I went to Wonderland. You got it,
He's
Jamie?
got a lovely 8-bit rendition of same stage in the 32X version. And I believe he's onto the boss. I've got to say, I'm a big fan of the colours that are going on Grump Stream at the moment. I'm a sucker for these sorts of aesthetics and sort of like going a little overboard with
Yeah,
the colours.
garish
In
neon's
general,
lovely.
Tempo is great when it comes to colors and sprite work. It's excellent. Ow.
I have only got one
bit of
life
bonk
left. Oh my word, if I cop this, I'm just going to be so annoyed.
You got this.
Do you know
got
the
this.
password, just in case?
What's the password, Precious?
Shall I have a look?
I actually have no idea.
Yes.
That's funny. I'm going to pick up this health just because I can. Save potential dramas.
Alrighty, and Grump is currently on the boss,
Go, Grump! Go, Grump!
which has a very similar boss tech to Yet again, I'm going to mention it, the 32X version. I tried not to.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, it's what you're familiar with.
Really don't. So yeah, trying to bounce off the head of the queen bee and doing it very easily. I named that split in my splits as Cardi B.
Nice.
Oh, that's smart.
They're obviously trying to go for a particular look, and I feel like it's apt. It makes sense.
All right. Well, the first grudge match, we get the frog.
That's a pretty good first grudge, frankly.
Well, apparently you can only get one of two grudges per. Like the first grudge can either be the frog or the penguin, and second grudge is either the queen bee or the clown.
You don't want the clown.
I learned that today from Scully Bob. So thank you, Scully Bob.
Good old Squilly Bob, world record holder.
Shout-outs to
He recently, with the new skip of Jimmy, he made it 13, 14.
Oh yes,
An insane time.
How they got that time, I have no idea. But
Yeah.
of course,
I imagine maybe having keys that are maybe a little bit easier to double tap on. I don't know whether Squirrel Bob runs on.
Thank
emulator
God.
or-
I got to be.
Google actually runs on a Mega SG,
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
so technically cheating.
I ordered the Mega SG. That's all. I'm
for
playing
this
on the
game,
Game
huh?
Gear now. I'm not cheating.
That's Jimmy just trying to avoid these spikes on that little stair.
Because spikes are bad for
way,
your health.
And he's gonna have to do it twice here as well. He's managed to collect that golden note, collecting a little bit of health there and jumping at the right time. It looks like you're gonna hit the spikes whenever you do that sort of little hover there, but Jimmy knows what he's doing. Yeah, and avoiding the electricity overhead, which is very nicely done.
Miss that jump.
All right. Final boss on my end.
Now Grump is on the final boss.
Go Grump, go Grump, go Grump.
I'm trying to get him in a
say-
particular situation. Like he's standing right now. I can just keep hitting him. It doesn't always work as well, but this one is seemingly going excellent.
He's just taking it like a champ right now.
I'm just sitting here. I'm mashing the button like
It's not moving.
the old
an
strat
inch.
was keep on dashing into him with the roll, and that hurts them. Okay, I got hit. Finally got hit once,
Almost.
and that is time.
Well done.
GG. Nicely done.
Thank you. All right, let's go, Jimmy. Can do it.
Yeah, let's get behind Jimmy. Jimmy is on the B-Boss at the moment.
And B-Boss is down.
Let's go.
Nicely done. Moving on.
Let's hope you get some good.
Yeah, let's hope the grudge fights don't go rubbish.
Yeah,
Do you know what time you got, Grump?
I think
On my-
1404.
Isn't that a PB?
I think that's PB. Yeah, I think that's PB actually.
Ah,
That's
I
good.
have
let's
1409,
go.
I think.
That's really good.
Yeah, I got lucky.
You make your
Alright,
own
Jimmy's
luck.
first boss of the grudge matches is the frog, which we heard earlier was good.
The penguin is faster, I think. I like
Correct.
I like getting the penguin and the queen bee.
Yeah, Queen Bee is definitely the best second one.
Yeah,
The clown is awful. And we all are very, very conscious that clowns in general are pretty awful. I don't know how I got caught then, but that's fun.
One thing I would like to point out is that in the console version, in the 32x tempo, when you hit the credits, they badly the score system was very poorly programmed in the end, and there are different prizes that you can get because, as you can see, this is a major and minor show that carries over.
Oh, I get
onto
the Queen
console
Bee,
version,
that's good.
And yes, let's go.
Let's go.
But the prize system doesn't work very well. You've got to spend 6 hours in the final stage if you want to get the true ending. But what you do get is tempo in just boxer briefs, just in his pants. Of course, I'm speaking British pants, with like a very ripped physique, which if you haven't seen it before, I implore you after this run, it's in your hands.
I gotta
You
check
can look
that
at
out.
it if you want to. I've described it and it's up to you.
Yeah, you will see the ultra ripped tempo in Super Tempo for the Saturn. It really, really is something. It really is something. Oh golly, it's something.
Now Jimmy is on to his final boss. Final showdown.
The stream on my laptop is a bit behind. But, it looks like the Queen Bee went really well.
It went really, really well. You should be able to hit the Queen Bee about 4 times before she disappears back off the pattern. And this boss is not playing ball.
Nice, and you're using that snap and shooting that musical note to stun the boss, aren't you?
No, I'm actually just running into his bum.
Oh.
It's
Okay.
constant running into the bum. This is the old strat, what Grunt was talking about. It's much easier. It's a little bit slow. That's time!
GG.
That is a GG for Jimmy. Well done.
Thinking that's going to be about 17 and a half or so.
Low,
Just under a
low
17
17, I
and a
think,
half,
yeah.
Nice. And that is Tempo
That's
Junior! Yay!
Yes. It is definitely
Jimmy
an
ending
easier
on-
tempo game.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
yeah,
that's a lot of
I
fun.
think that's fair to say. That was a 1723
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that.
For Jimmy.
Quite happy with that. Quite happy with that.
GG.
Especially given that I had 2
No, I
deaths.
I was about to say, considering that, I
Yeah.
think you've done pretty
Yeah.
well. So, yeah, well done.
Recovered nicely.
But GG's to Gruntmeister, taking the victory. That's 1 out of none. 1 out of none? That's 1 and 0. That's what I meant to say. I've had a long day. I'm still feeling a bit poorly from earlier. Never mind.
There better be more then.
Yeah. But there's blatantly going to be more. We are, you, me, and Squirrelbob are the premier Tempo Junior speedrunners. And it's going to have to be a league at some point. We have 2 Europeans. We have 1 over in the States. It's, a multinational thing now. We've proven ourselves on a big stage. And we're going to have to keep going. We're going to make it a Super League, a Tempo Super League. Tempo Junior Super League, excuse me.
So everyone watching, come
dare I say
join.
at some point I will join you, because this is a game that I've rolled up for a while, and having a look at the other tempo games, it could be quite fun to, maybe mash them all together and do a trilogy at some point.
Oh,
definitely do.
If one is mad enough to do so, but yes, Tempo Junior, I've thoroughly enjoyed seeing you guys race this. It's a game that I looked at a while ago and thought, yeah, this looks neat, and it's nice to see that it's picked up activity and that you two seem to enjoy it as well. You're not just doing it because something to do.
It was quite silly. Like I was looking into the game and started learning it. Like the first 2 areas I had done, and then Jimmy started streaming it and also just learned it at that point. So we basically started at the same time without knowing.
It's a small world after all. Yeah.
Alrighty, well done, you two. If people want to see more Tempo Junior action or any other gaming action, where can they find you?
Grump, you should
Go
go
for it,
first
Jimmy.
on that one.
Oh, can I go first? Sure. You can find me at twitch.tv/Grumpmeister. I tend to play a lot of obscure and generally bad, obscure, the lesser known titles, basically. So if you're into that, twitch.tv/Grumpmeister is the place to be. But also check out Jimmy. Jimmy, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, you will find me at twitch.tv/Jimmy_Diamonds. You will find me on Twitter at twitter.com/Jimmy_Diamonds, X at the end. You're also going to find me on Tuesday. Yep, Tuesday the 28th of June at the SGDQ event itself, running a game called Battle Axe. One of my favourite games of the last few years, and I'm very much looking forward to being on the big stage. Of course, a couple of days before Hibby's amazing Knuckles Chaotix run. That's going to be something brilliant to watch. The second ever 32X game to appear at a mainline GDQ event, and it's by my lovely, amazing, the single most handsome man in speedrunning entertainment, Hypnotics himself. But yeah, I am a speedrunner, commentator. I generally speak for England because I'm from England, weirdly enough. You can tell by the voice I'm currently saying to you. That's not even English, but whatever. It's fine. You may catch me at certain events and tournaments around the speedrunning community. And yeah, if you want to have a bit of a fun time with me just kind of losing my losing my head at some incredible speedrunners, then you'll hear my voice at some point in the near future.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much, you two. Yes, don't want to blow my horn too much, but you should check out SGDQ because there will be some cool gamers there. I can certainly vouch for one of them on our screen right now, but that is going to be all from Going Places this time round. Whilst this is happening as well, these two runners have also been in an event recently called Segathon, which is going on over the weekend. So if you enjoy Sega action, then you should certainly check that out. But for now, we are going to be signing off. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be back in 2 weeks' time. And then after that, we will be heading into the festivities of SGDQ. So who knows what will be on the next show. But yeah, hopefully see you there. We will be having hotfixes on tomorrow as well. I believe it's PB Precipice and It's Dangerous to Go Alone. So very much worth checking those out. And yeah, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you around.
Thank you.